The Session is brought to you by morebeer.com, where every day you can enter to win the beer trip of a lifetime for two to Belgium. Private tours, round-trip airfare, and $500 to spend. Enter now at morebeer.com.
Great beer is about drinkability. Doesn't matter the style.
You guys are like walking beer Wikipedia. That's the first time that you've ever accepted me as a person.
Or you have a fermentation in your gut.
I'm jet propelled at all times.
How many guys do you think that you have the privilege to slap?
Somebody who's never tasted a commercial example, and this is how you know everything about this beer? Please, you don't.
I think that's bullshit.
I think it's bullshit too.
Wow. Are you guys going to arm wrestle?
No.
They're going to teabag fight instead. You heard of Junkyard Wars?
Can I get another high five, Beavis?
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
All right, boys and girls, welcome to the program. Excited to be back and a lot to do. It's the Brewcaster Challenge finale tonight. That's right.
Isn't this the winner's bracket? Come on.
Well, we wish. It's the loser's bracket between Nathan Smith and myself. And it's Schwarzbier.
Schwarzbier.
I tasted my Schwarzbier today.
Yeah, you did.
I tasted it when I kegged it, too, which was, I kegged it on Thursday. I still, after all this time, cannot predict how my beer is going to taste when it's flat and out of the keg, like out of the fermenter. You know, I've said that before, where I really... People ask me, well, what do you think? How's it going to be? I don't know. I can never tell if it's good or not.
You mean from the gravity sample, basically, or from
exactly.
Before it's fully carbonated and conditioned?
Before it's exactly. I just can't tell. I have no clue. So I was worried all weekend, and there was nothing glaringly wrong with it, so that's a plus.
That's very good.
It smelled all right, right?
It smelled fine.
All right.
I don't get a headache by sipping it.
Didn't have any rope on top or anything like that.
No. And so I tasted it today, after conditioning.
Thumbs up?
I think so.
Oh, this will be good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of digging mine, too. So.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
I do know the things that are not as planned is probably the right way to say it. Right. I can taste a few things that were not as planned.
And that's different from when you sampled it a week ago?
No.
Those are still there. Oh, you knew that, too, back then.
I did know that, too.
So you did know where it was going.
Yeah. I wouldn't call them flaws, per se. They were just not as planned.
This is the brewer speaking right here.
Yeah.
Listen to this.
They're little bonuses. They're little surprises.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that explanation, yeah.
It's the things you choose to be cellar blind about.
Right.
So, to be quite honest with you, I'm really excited about the tasting. For better or for worse, I'm excited to get some feedback on the beer because I think it's okay. I think it's pretty good.
I like you're really excited.
Sound surprised. So
you're excited that it's okay.
Well,
it's the first time you made a lager,
my
right?
first lager. Yeah. I still have the same errors, that I always have because I don't brew very often. All that same shit, all the same bullshit. Right. So.
Well, the difference being is it takes longer to make. I mean, ale and lager, right? You're gonna screw it up. It's gonna be screwed up in the brew day, regardless. You're not gonna make a lager better than an ale, I think.
Well, I guess you're right, and it's not like we were tasked with an American light lager, which would have terrified me.
Yeah,
a Schwarzbier, at least I think, has some room for error, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a place to hide.
Got some complexity there we can hide behind, yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about a couple of techniques that I used. We'll talk later in the show.
Like this thing called boiling.
Yeah.
Just figured it out, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Good. You got past page 5 in the book.
Yeah. Right. I got to page 5.5.
Right.
So, the Brewcaster challenge today between Nathan and I
brought us a proper Schwarzbier glass for inspiration.
Oh, the Kostritza glass. Very nice.
I thought that was a Pilsner glass. What's the difference? Or a wheat beer glass?
Well, this is just their branded glass. I don't think the style actually has a particular glass, but
we only brought one, so we're going to have to blend it, a 50-50 blend, and you and I drink it.
Whoever wins or loses has to chug it or something. I don't know. We'll come up with something cool.
All right, so we got that going on today. Also, we're going to be talking to our old friend Blake Crosby from B. Crosby Hop Farm. He's been on the show a couple of times before talking to us about rhizomes. You can go over to Crosby Hop Farm now and get rhizomes still. But today he's talking to us about new hop varieties, which is always exciting.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad that Nathan's...
I'm way excited about this.
I'm glad you're in the studio for this one for that, too. Let me mention some of the hops we're going to talk about. Is it Cashmere or Cashmere?
It's with an N.
It's with an N.
Yeah, Cashmere.
Really?
It would be cooler if it was named after the Zeppelin song. I would prefer that.
I thought it was wrong, too, when I talked to him, and I made him go back. It's Cashmere? He said, no, Cashmere.
Isn't the Zeppelin song named after a city in India?
Yeah, but that doesn't count.
Sure it does.
It's also named after a fabric, I think.
That's with a C, though. Honey. Yeah.
So anyway, Cashmere, Tahoma, Medusa, and Lemon Drop.
Medusa?
Yeah, Medusa, which is a great name for a hop.
It is.
If you look at it, you'll turn to stone.
Yeah. You turn right to Stone Brewing Company. You head that way.
Right. You just go.
You look at it once.
Now they have to make a beer with this hop, I think.
Yeah. So we're going to learn about new hops today, and we're going to talk about the difference between proprietary hops and then kind of public domain hops that anybody's allowed to grow. So we'll talk about that stuff with Blake in just about 20 minutes or so, 20-30 minutes. We'll have him on there. So it's going to be exciting. Thanks to our sponsor of today's show and every session that we do. Those are the good folks over at More Beer. As you heard there right in the beginning of the show, you can still enter for a chance to win a trip to Belgium. I think it's a trip for two, and they give you some spending cash and everything else. So go over to morebeer.com right now for all the details and figure it out. But thanks to More Beer for sponsoring the show once again. All right, a few announcements to get through today. Kind of a lot of things going on, so pay close attention. The first thing is that for the first time ever, we've moved the night of BNA 9, of our anniversary party.
Moving the night.
Wow, not on a Wednesday?
It's not on a Wednesday. It was going to be on a Wednesday until I went to the Craft Brewers Conference this week and got some further information about the National Homebrewers Conference. And it turns out that they have altered the way they're doing Pro Night. And in a sense, there is no Pro Night.
That's the alteration. Is that it's no longer there.
So it's going to be...
Really?
Something else instead?
No.
Oh.
Us.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. BNA 9.
We're the something else instead. So they are doing. You still get plenty of chance to try professional beer at NHC. I think what's happening is basically that they're moving the pro brewers into the hospitality suite with us during the day,
all day, every day.
Yeah, so you know how normally it's just a brew club pouring in there. Well, now it'll be a brew club, a homebrew club, as well as several professional breweries.
That's interesting.
And so what happens is that there's a welcome reception on Thursday night, but when it gets out at 7:30, that's it.
The buses will be waiting.
Right. And there's nowhere else to go. I mean, you certainly could go wander downtown and do other things, but we thought, well, if there's really nothing happening Thursday night, why don't we do... I mean, we're basically pro night with our bullshit shenanigans.
Exactly.
Yeah?
Some could say it's a better party.
They were just waiting for you to step up. Yeah. So now you did.
So I found that out, and I said, well, what do you think, guys? Can I just move to Thursday then? I feel like a lot of people don't come in until, Thursday morning or late Wednesday. They miss the party. And, hell, if everyone gets out of the reception at 7:30 and is wondering where to go and there's buses headed to a beer fest, what are you going to do? You're going to get on the bus.
On that damn bus.
Right. All right, so our party is, and this is why tickets have not gone on sale. I know I told you that we were going to do that about a week ago, but when I got this information, I thought, well, we got to hold off and figure out all the details. So we are moving the party to Thursday night. It will be going, essentially, you get on the buses right at 7:30, and we'll go up until 11 o'clock. We're going to go party at the baseball park. We got Fifth Third Ballpark. We're renting out the entire place. There will be a VIP area. I think we're allowed to use the... I'm actually flying out there tomorrow morning to check out the site. So we're still figuring out the logistics of the VIP party portion, but we're hoping to still be able to do about 100 tickets for VIPs, and I think we're going to use luxury boxes, and you get some bonuses, some extra beer and things like that.
Nice.
we're doing food and beer in the cost of a ticket this time. So everybody who comes in, when you get out of that thing at 7:30, you don't have to worry about going to get dinner. Just get on the bus, and we're going to have beer and food. So I'm pretty excited.
Sounds great.
That's awesome.
I will have more details after my site visit tomorrow, but it is possible that we're going to put tickets on sales to members this weekend. You'll get an email if you're a recurring donor in the BN Army. You're going to get an email about when tickets go on sale to you first, and then they'll go on sale to the general public next week.
Are you staying overnight there when you're going out tomorrow to check out the...
I am.
Yeah. You got to come home same day. That's the power move.
Fly in, fly out.
Yeah.
I thought about it, but the way God, it's hard to get to Grand Rapids from here.
Yeah, it's probably a connecting flight at least.
I will have been up for 24 hours if I did that, and I'm really old now. When I do that, I feel like a zombie, like I have to recover for a week. So I couldn't. I was like, I got to sleep. I have to get there and do my thing and sleep.
There's no private airport there in Grand Rapids?
Not that we can afford.
Hop grenade jet.
The runway's too short for
Concord to Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Needs a lot more.
Let me put it to you this way. Our bake sale didn't go all that well. So, so even if there's a private airport, it ain't happening.
I made more money in one sale than the rest of the cookies all day.
I think you did, Tasty. So
definitely an event that costs more to run.
Yeah.
That's right.
I think the move is good for judges, too, because the judging's usually on Thursday, and people can do that all day and then go to the party. Sometimes people don't go to the party on Wednesday night if they're going to be judging all day Thursday
morning, yeah.
Oh, and they have that. Don't they have the judges' reception on Wednesday, so there's usually a conflict?
Yeah, they've tried to move that slightly to accommodate years recent, but this will be even easier then.
Yeah, I think it'll be great.
So there you have it. BNA 9 is on Thursday. Check your inbox for ticket information, and we'll get you all the details. But we're now Pro Night this year, at least in Grand Rapids. I don't know if that's always how it's going to be, but that's how it is right now.
Should pro be in air quotes every time we say it? We're Pro Night.
Definitely just switch it to Amateur Night. Does not even bother. But we're going to have, I don't know, we're going to have 25 to 30 breweries ourselves like we normally do. So it's basically Pro Night.
Kickball.
And kickball. Yeah. It's Pro Night with kickball.
Hell yeah.
So... we'll have more details after I visit the site and about what kind of activities we'll be doing, but it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, the other thing happening is there's an AHA rally at Heretic coming up this Saturday, and we're going to be there. We're going to be doing a show from there. Of course, we'll be recording it live, but apparently Jamel doesn't have the bandwidth for us to broadcast it live, so we'll post a show after the fact. But come out and hang out with us. I know the Heretic is giving away wort. All you got to do is bring a container,
whatever you want,
and then
that's by you register for that, then it's sold out. So if you don't have
you had to register.
You don't have a ticket, you're not getting the. I guess the first 150, which
I think they're.
I think it's about a 30-barrel batch.
They're strongly discouraging glass carboys. Which is probably a smart safety maneuver.
Yeah, here, drink all these 8% beers. And then haul your glass carbo full of wort out to your car.
So if you do have a ticket for wort, bring your better bottle or your bucket before you think about bringing the carbo
or your keg.
I don't have
sanitize your keg, dump it right in.
I don't have any. I could bring a bucket, I guess. I think I have a bucket.
Bring your keg.
But I didn't get a ticket.
Well, then you're
Little Birdie said there are some extras for like special circumstance, like
which you are
retarded
definitely.
People that don't,
right?
Definitely special circumstance.
Yes.
All right, so there's that and all sorts of other stuff going on there too. I know Gary Glass from the AHA will be out there, and it's going to be a really fun rally. So come hang out with us. That's this Saturday. What time does it start, Tasty? You remember?
I believe it's at noon.
I think
I thought too.
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's like noon to 4.
Yeah, AHA members get in free. If you're not a member, you can sign up right there and you're getting free.
Okay. Excellent. So come on out and see us. That's this Saturday. Also, a little update on the Hop Grenade tap room and bottle shop. We are under construction right now. I'll be putting up some pictures here soon. It looks like we're going to be open at the end of May.
So July.
Yeah. Great. Well, Moscow and I are trying to crack the whip over there and get some things done and get everybody moving along. We got a schedule from the guys finally last week, and that schedule says that our inspection, is scheduled to take place at the very, very end of May. I'm going to try to move that up a few days, and if we're successful. Don't like buy plane tickets based around this or anything, but if we're successful, I would say we would be open the weekend of starting Friday, May 30th. Like Friday, May 30th and Saturday the 31st, which, by the way, happens to be the Firestone Beer Festival on Saturday.
So you know what's going to happen.
That would be our opening weekend.
If it does get delayed, it'll fall on the NHC week.
Yeah, great.
Which is why it can't get delayed.
Right.
Which is why I'm in there basically giving hand jobs and anything else I have to do to get the guys working. I'm over there massaging necks and, tickling buttholes. Anything I got to do to get these guys working. So
powers of persuasion. You could let me in on that.
Maybe that's why it's taking so long.
They're like, no one's getting any work done. Anyway, that's your update. We're working on it. So hopefully the end of May. And
yeah, you can make it the 31st. I got plans, dude.
On that Saturday?
Yeah. I'm booked out, so you can't do it.
What do you have happening on the 31st?
Me and Pete Sloshberg have to hang out.
Oh, Pete's coming. I'll book him for
not anymore.
For the appearance.
Guess what? We're gonna take a Segway tour of San Francisco. It's gonna be cute.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the 30th would actually be our grand opening, the Friday before.
Oh, then that's totally fine.
So if you want to be a douchebag and miss the Saturday as well, that's okay. At least you're there for one day.
Right.
On the 30th.
Segway.
I'll invoice you, don't worry.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's your Hop Grenade update. We're hoping for end of May.
That's awesome.
All right, all the ways you can support us. You can shop in the store. They got a lot of merch and swag in there, and you should get it while it's hot. And you can also shop on Amazon. Just click the Amazon link on our homepage, and we get a little cut of it. Do we have a product of the week over there?
Yes, indeed. It's the 7mm tungsten carbide men's polished plain dome wedding ring band, size 7 through 15. And this is just a plain, looks like steel wedding ring band, and it was $19.99.
That's awesome.
It's the perfect illustration of the difference between men and women. I guarantee you, whatever guy got this is like, oh, this is great.
Yeah,
I love this ring.
He's like, and we can get it on Prime. We'll have it by tomorrow. And, I
didn't even have to pay shipping. Is there a woman alive who wouldn't just kill the person who got this for her? Just murder them on the spot.
And I never even would have thought to do like wedding band shopping on Amazon.
Who would have thought?
You can do everything on Amazon.
It's amazing.
It's in your budget. You just didn't think you'd find it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's 100% scratch proof, and of that $19.99, the BN got $1.50. So
nice.
Thanks, baby.
All right, thanks for the support. All right, watch all this live over on thebrewingnetwork.com/TV and subscribe and join the BN Army. That's how you get inside information from us. Just click the BN Army link on the homepage, become a recurring donor. Get all this information and more over on Twitter and Facebook. Send your show ideas over to Scott the Jew. That's Scott at thebrewingnetwork.com, and send feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. Do we have a Twitter game today?
Yes.
All right, Twitter game is brought to you today by Austin Homebrew Supply. You can go to austinhomebrew.com right now and check them out. They got $7.99 flat rate shipping. Boy, would I be doing them a disservice. $79. They'll ship anything to you.
Flat rate. Don't worry about it.
Flat.
From yeast to kettles, you're covered.
All right, $7.99 flat rate shipping plus a whole lot of homebrew kits. If you just want to go get a great recipe, you can do it over there at austinhomebrew.com. What's our Twitter game?
Well, I've been walking around town a lot lately and noticing a lot of piercings. Everyone has piercings. My nephew wants to get facial piercing. Any town.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Any town, USA, Justin.
What is it, 1995?
Don't ruin my bet.
At the Walmart, and that's in the town.
Yeah. Okay, I've been looking at a lot of porn, and there's a lot of piercings.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
And so, there's piercings called the Prince Albert, which is the bar through the wiener, something called the Madonna, something called the Rook. I don't even know what that is, but...
no, but I want to know.
Yeah, it got me thinking, if the BN had a piercing, where would it go, and what would it be called?
What would it be called?
So, like mine would probably have my nutsack flipped over my penis, and it'd be called the peekaboo. And you can you can detach it, and you go peekaboo, and you flip it down.
Isn't that already called the Batwing?
I don't know.
Why not a stainless steel bar right through your liver or something?
Oh, right through the liver.
Good.
That's a good option. All right, send your ideas over to Twitter. Speaking of weird piercings, did I tell you that I went to a strip club when I was in Denver?
I don't think you had to. I think it was.
Is that the one right by the convention center?
No. It is near there, but around the corner. It's a different one. And I got the first ever vagina disclaimer. From the stripper. She's like, "Do you want a private dance?" "Sure, let's go." And on the way in there, there's two different types of private dance you can get. You can get one bottomless or bottomed. You pay extra for bottomless. Although I don't need to do that.
Right.
But on the way there, she's like, and just to let you know, and she starts to talk to me about how there's a weird thing happening with her vagina, and that it might look a little weird, but it's really just because she normally has a barbell through it, but it's not there right now. She has to go get a new barbell, so it just sort of looks like the lump in the hole of she's going through this thing. And we sit down, and I'm like, did you just give me a disclaimer for your vagina before we got started here? And she's like, well, I just wanted you to know. I didn't want you to be freaked out, thinking it's something else. So I was like, well, I'll tell you, you can keep your bottoms on this time around.
Yeah, she didn't really sell that one.
You weren't a vagina guy. She didn't know that.
Super cute, too. And we're just walking through the thing, and she just starts giving me a disclaimer for her vagine.
At that point, you just turn around, and heel all right, heel pivot, and just walk back somewhere else. And she's talking, looks back, and you just sees your rear end, man.
Right. My deformed rear end.
Yeah, so I got to tell you something. It kind of looks, it looked kind of like a penis, but it's a vagina. I swear to God.
Yeah, she's
don't worry about it.
You're going to think it's a penis, but it's not. It's a piercing.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a second. That doesn't sound right.
No. Probably didn't look right either. Did she get offended when you asked her to keep her bottoms on because no one needs to see that?
She didn't know you'd pay extra for her to keep them on.
Exactly. I was like, I'll give you an extra 20 to take that all back.
Don't even tell me. Leave your pants on.
Yeah, you know when you take a roast beef off the spit and there's that hole that the stick was in?
I'm telling you, it was odd. That's why I love strip clubs. Weird stuff happens. You hear weird things. I've never heard a disclaimer before, and now I have.
I would have loved if you had to sign something.
There were other things. We'll get into that later. Right. There was some other weird stuff. All right.
Oh, my God.
You've got mail.
Kick ass.
All right, feedback's brought to you today by John over at Beer Law Center if you're looking to protect your trademark, and you should be. I had to send a message to somebody just last week, and they basically told me to go fuck myself.
The one,
different one.
Okay.
That was the one you sent me was the second one I got that week.
A new chapter of fun for you.
And it's just somebody who has a hop grenade for their beer, and I send my normal thing. Like I send them a private message, like, "Hey, I'm just letting you know who I am," and the same thing I always do. And basically, he wrote back like, "Go fuck yourself." Yeah. It's people like you that ruin it for everybody, and
ruin it.
I'm like, okay, and then he in the end he's like, "P.S. The very least you could have done was sent me a private message, not some form letter." And I'm like, dude, I sat there for 30 minutes writing you that stupid thing, trying to be nice, like trying to make sure I'm not being offensive and I'm explaining myself well. And he basically requested, he's like, have your lawyer send me something. So I was like, all right, if you want, that's what I'll do. I'm not,
I like how it's on you to reply as a person, like he's offended.
Yeah.
He took your thing.
Yeah.
But he's offended because you may or may not have, because you replied to him super politely.
Yes.
And he thought it was a form letter.
Yeah. Oh, this will definitely be one that I talk about on the air as soon as I'm allowed to, because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
He was just a dick about it. And I'm like, look, you're such a small brewery, too. Like, you're a tiny brewery, so it's the right time to do it. It's one little brand in your portfolio, whereas it's my entire brand. It's literally everything we do is the Hop Grenade. And how much more publicity would you get, actually, if you just come on the show like a cool person, like a normal person? If this is the way you want to get publicity, it's not going to work as well.
Oh, I see. That's how it is?
It worked so well for all the other breweries who,
suck a dick.
So anyway, I called John over at Beer Law Center, and I'm like, look, John, I can't deal with this anymore. I can't even handle it. I'm not even going to send the personal messages anymore. I don't have time.
When John sends him the letter, he's going to be like, oh, so everyone's all litigious now, huh? Is that it?
Exactly. Which I even put in the thing. I was like, I don't like having, my lawyer, but whatever, if that's what you want me to do, per your request, here's your official cease and desist, you shithead. So, beerlawcenter.com, my friend John, he's going to help me out, and he can help you out, too. Just go check it out. He's a good guy. He's really on top of things, and I like him a lot as a person, too. He gets it. He's not trying to go sue everybody, either. He just wants to help me protect my brand. Beerlawcenter.com. All right, let's do the feedback here. This is feedback from our last show, too, because I didn't get around to it, but there was some good stuff in here. JD writes in, forgive me for being behind in listening, but I just listened to the Maltos Falcons podcast. He says, Delaware is not a landlocked state. It has several beaches. It's good to know that the Aussies are just as dumb as Americans when it comes to geography.
I mean, there was an Australian listener who was making fun of us because we didn't know anything about Australia or something like that.
Oh. And then
that's what that reference was.
But we weren't the ones who said Delaware's landlocked? Because I wouldn't put that past us either.
I can't remember now. It's been like a month or two.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the clarification. All right. Morgan from Collinsville, Illinois writes in, Dear Brewcasters, I'm going to be brewing my first Belgian kit soon, and I wonder if there are any tricks and or processes that might assist this attempt. From listening to the show, I understand that Belgians are very tricky to brew. Cheers to all, and thanks for the info. Any very quick tips? I mean, it's just like brewing a different kind of an ale.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
lots of yeast and yeast nutrient.
Okay.
Yeah. Good oxygenation. Keep the yeast from spitting out lots of nasty high alcohols and
by keeping them healthy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. There you go. There's a few tips. Everything else, just listen to the shows, read the books. Brewing Classic Styles will help you out there with that one, too. Okay. Captain Amazing writes in, my girlfriend wants to show off her boobs on the internets. That's it. That was the whole email.
Wow.
Do we have to reply to facilitate this?
Apparently.
Is she asking for permission from us?
It's all systems go.
Yep. You can hit the chat button on the homepage right now, and we'll get you an email to send your girlfriend's boobs to.
Get them ready. Potter them up.
We will gladly put them on the internets. All right. Tim writes in, I'm glad I stopped donating. You guys are incompetent as fuck. I mean, 1 week to get your website back up, and then the episode that aired almost a week ago still isn't up. This came in a week ago, by the way. That episode's up.
Yeah.
I guess I'm impatient as fuck, but I mean, isn't this your only job over there?
Yeah, your only job is just to do radio. That's all. There's nothing else that is involved with that other than just talking. It magically gets edited and uploaded, and there you go.
I don't know. I could explain things to you, Tim, but something tells me it wouldn't really matter.
Well, and through that whole week, our website was down.
Which means I couldn't put up, our server was literally down. So the reason the show didn't go up, here's a little thing that happens. Your server works along with the show. Like when you download it, gets downloaded from the server. So I couldn't even put the show on the server because there's no fucking server.
Right.
And anyway.
And it was explained everywhere. It was explained in the forum, explained on Facebook, on Twitter. It was literally explained everywhere several times throughout that week.
And by the way, if you think you were frustrated, Tim, you should have seen me.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, our company totally failed, basically, is what happened. And we had to take to social media to even get them to fix the thing. Finally, at the end of the week, I was like, guys, you've been telling me shit for 3 days now, and it's all been lies. So I went to Twitter. Site got up the next day. Because the site got up 6 hours after that. It tends to work.
Yeah, for
when
sure.
you have, how many people do we have over on Twitter? When you have 40,000 people or something?
Yeah, 40,000, I think, right? Yeah.
No, 28.
28. Guys don't overshoot it. That doesn't sell your point.
Likes
you have 100,000 people that love you.
Well, also, we don't have our own server. It's a company.
Right.
So it wasn't us, it was a company. So everyone, chill out.
Anyway, Tim, thanks for the email, asshole. All right, Brendan from Sydney writes in, Hey, Justin, after my last email, Tasty asked for more tips when traveling to Australia. Here are a few more. Flip-flops are called thongs, and thongs are called G-strings. Here's one that's good to know, actually. The electricity here is 240 volts, so Justin and Nate will need to be very careful with their hair dryers. No. Actually, we are, depending on how much of the crew over, we're maybe bringing equipment to do a show.
Yeah.
And
make sure those power supplies are auto-switching or you'll burn some stuff up, man.
I don't think we're going to bring our equipment now. I didn't think about that. Here's another one. This is how you pronounce capital cities in Australia. Melbourne is Melbourne.
Melbourne.
With the bin part almost a BN. Melbourne. And the I, okay, and without the I. So, Melbourne. Brisbane is Brisbane. And Canberra is Canberra. And Sydney is Sydney.
Great.
So, I think I'm a pro already.
I can handle the last one. I don't know about the others.
So far, so good. There's no other cities, right?
Yeah.
That's just it.
That's it.
It's all desert.
Everything else is like...
We're experts now. We're good.
The cities are named after clicks.
Yeah.
The alcohol limit for driving is 0.05. And we drive on the left side of the road. And you put those two things together, and I'm fucked. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, and here's an answer for you, Tasty. Last week when we were reading about the different beer glass sizes, Tasty asked why all the measurements given for the beer glass were in ounces. The reason is the beer glasses are in, the reason the beer glasses are in ounces is the They're all from before Australia went metric in the early 70s.
Oh, but they did. Transfer.
Yeah, they switched
We talked
over.
about it here some time ago. We never did, though, I guess, right? Or
Yeah,
did we?
that's right. No, we never did. All right, Matt in Virginia writes in, I think you guys missed out on a hard-hitting question with Left Hand regarding trademarking nitro on their bottles. Maybe I'm misunderstanding the significance, but are we going to stand by and let one brewery claim a somewhat commonly used term in the brewing world? How freaking annoying is it to say California Common instead of Steam? What will breweries put on their labels instead of nitro? Like nitrogenated? Or something like that.
Yeah.
Small little bubbles.
Yeah.
So I did ask, here's what I do. I tend to feel out how much we're going to get out of guests long before I get to any hard-hitting questions. And, we didn't get a whole lot out of Left Hand about different things. We talked about the process, and they said there's a video on it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I said, how do we find the video? They said,
Google.
It's on YouTube.
And by the way, that video doesn't teach you anything either. It's kind of a joke on we're not going to tell you.
Right. Now, the Left Hand guys are nice, just don't get me wrong, and I really did love their beer. It was a fine interview. But what I'm saying is by the time we got to the part about the nitro, I asked, but I could tell, taking it any further than that, I wasn't going to get you an answer anyway.
Yeah, it was a little touchy still.
It's going to be an awkward silence and a weird reaction, and that just doesn't make me very comfortable. It doesn't really make for good radio, and I figure if I'm not going to get an answer anyway, why make everybody uncomfortable in the process?
Right.
You could tell, and also, I don't think they would go for trademarking nitro if they didn't really feel like it was something they should do anyway. So we were going to get that answer. We were going to get it's something we should do.
Clearly.
Yeah.
And then what they were going to hear from me is probably something to the effect that I'm not a big fan of their choice in what they're doing.
Yeah.
I would try to hide it, but it would become inherently clear.
It would be great if you just hung up.
By the way, one of the arguments that the dickheads who are using my hop grenade at that brewery made was, to me, they were saying that I'm part of the problem. They asked, what are you going to trademark next? Beer? And I was like,
no IPA, dude.
I like to think of as, that's where I'm going with this. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm starting at the really wildly esoteric and gonna go in not narrow, but wider than that. I hope they trademark bottle.
What are you going to do next, Mercedes-Benz? Trademark the word car?
Right. Anyway, so I don't know. Sometimes you just got to leave it to me on these things, and I didn't feel like it was right to press the issue because I didn't think we were going to get an answer that satisfied anybody. So I left it alone.
Good choice, I think.
Yeah. I like how he's like, are we going to stand by?
What do we have to do with it?
Yeah, I know. What do you, work at Safeway? What are you in the beer industry? Or you're not, is it your job to stand up? No.
No, you're going to grab
don't worry about
pitchforks and torches and head down there and find these guys.
Yeah. Then don't buy their beer if you don't like it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like Matt and anybody else, if you do have a problem with it, and I would say there could be an argument made for having a problem with it, then you respond with your dollars.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with your dollars? And I found the beer so goddamn good that I think my dollars are going to go there anyway.
If you make that choice, then it's more for us.
Yeah. All right. Ryan in Pueblo writes in, hi, Team BN. I've officially listened to every single session, Brew Strong, and Jamil Show archive podcast as of today.
Wow.
To celebrate, I decided to finally give in to those damn Adam and Eve live reads. I'm not sure how I made it through so many episodes without even the slightest bit of curiosity, but I did. Until today. So the little lady and I went on Adam and Eve's shopping spree this afternoon, courtesy of the BN Army Code. Of course, I first had to check for the frequently listed genres. Big butt, big boobs, anal, MILF, yada, yada, yada. But then settled on a giant donger for the lady and some sort of fake vagine for myself. Nice work, buddy. I've already told the lady that we need to name the giant donger Fuck Nate and the Schwartz in honor of the upcoming Brewcaster Challenge. Thanks for all that the BN does. Humor, beer history, homebrew inside beer culture, Brewcaster drama. You guys nail it all. Ryan from Pueblo.
I feel like that's a long name. It doesn't have to be like Jerry. It just has to, it's a name. That's a sentence.
I don't know, but I hope that it has that of the name. And every time they're bringing out the donger, he's like, "Hey, get out, fuck Nate and the Schwartz."
Right. But then, what about when she's calling it out over and over? It's it's a long way to go.
That's true. It's a good point.
He didn't ask for the BN logo on his fleshlight or something?
Right. All right, and here's our spam of the week sent to us by Belinda Rashid in a private message. I love casual dating, quickies in the park, and pool sex. Winky smiley face. I'm not too picky about guys, so just message me and let's have some fun. You can view my profile over at belinda-rashid.us/?P=. All right.
Just to the point. Straight to the point.
Yeah.
That's what I liked about it.
I love casual dating and anal.
Yeah. There was no, beat around the bush, no alliteration, nothing. Just straight up, hey, I'm super not picky, and I like to get down real fast.
It's also random. Yeah. I like casual sex and in pools.
In parks. In a park.
In a pool.
Yeah. But not above ground pool, because I think that's weird.
Yeah, no doughboys.
At the ball game, on camping trips, at a pool.
By the way, did I mention I'm super not picky?
So she does know her audience, at least.
Right.
Because then we're like, oh, sweet.
Yeah. Right. Males.
Right. All right. Feedback was brought to you today by Beer Law Center. Go to beerlawcenter.com. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Blake Crosby. He's from B. Crosby Hop Farms. We're going to talk about new hop varieties on the market. So if you have questions, 888-401-BEER. That's 888-401-BEER, or hit the chat button on the homepage. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hi, I'm Jamel Zanishev, and in addition to my work on the Brewing Network, I write the Style Profile column in every issue of Brew Your Own magazine.
Hi, I'm Sean Paxton, and when I'm not prepping for the Home Brewed Chef on the Brewing Network, you can find me writing articles on how to cook with your home brew for Brew Your Own magazine.
Greetings, cretins. This is John Palmer, and when I'm not writing for Brew Your Own, I'm reading it.
John Palmer, Sean Paxton, Jamil Zanishev. If you love listening to them on the Brewing Network, you'll love reading their articles, tips, and recipes in the pages of Brew Your Own magazine. Join Jamil, John, and Sean 8 times a year in Brew Your Own. And when you subscribe to BYO on the Brewing Network website, half of your subscription price goes right back to the BN to support great beer and food programming. So sign up for Brew Your Own magazine through the BN website today so you can listen and read your way to better homebrew.
The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
Do you like beer? They make beer.
Watch out!
Do you like friends and fun? They make friends and fun.
Watch out!
Do you still like to have a good time? The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
The 21st Amendment in San Francisco, located at 563 2nd Street, 2 blocks from the building where baseball is seen and played. Try their beers in the pub or try them in the can, featuring
Monk's Blood.
Made with real monk.
Watch out!
So why not have the best time of your life? Go to the 21A and Sean O'Sullivan will personally greet you with a can of
Monk's Blood. The 21st Amendment.
Watch out!
This advertisement is not in any way affiliated nor associated with the 21st Amendment Bar and Pub, nor its subsidiaries or affiliates. This telecast is not copywritten by the 21st Amendment for the private use of the Brewing Network. Any use of this telecast without Jamil Zanishev's consent is prohibited. Suck it, JP.
A vial of White Labs yeast is the key to your best beer.
When you open a vial of White Labs yeast, you're giving your beer its best chance for a perfect fermentation. In addition to their already incredible variety of yeasts, White Labs is proud to announce WLP90, San Diego's super yeast, now available year-round. WLP90 is super clean, super fast fermenting, with low esters and has a neutral flavor and aroma profile. It's alcohol tolerant and highly flocculent. For more of the latest White Labs news, click over to whitelabs.com, where you can read reviews of yeast, learn in the lab section, and join the customer club. And if you should find yourself in San Diego, White Labs has a brand new training facility for craft brewers and home brewers alike. Whitelabs.com. Discover yeast, nutrients, enzymes, and more for commercial breweries, home brewers, and homebrew stores. White Labs. It's all in the vial.
A few things happened 30 years ago.
ARPANET migrated to TCP/IP, and the Internet was born. Revenge of the Jedi was renamed Return of the Jedi and opened in theaters. Mila Kunis and Emily Blunt were born, beginning a rad fantasy in my mind.
But all of that pales next to the fact that HopTech opened its dours and began blowing homebrewers right out of their mash tuns. HopTech doesn't fuck around. Real people shipping awesome shit straight to you. Their new website is fast and easy to navigate. Or just call 800-379-4677 and let badass bitch Jade and brewing brother Roberto blow their warm load of customer service all over you. So visit the site or visit the store in Dublin, California and support those that support you. Get your brewing on at hoptech.com.
This is www.thebrewingnetwork.com.
Sit down next to it, grab yourself a paper towel, and watch those yeast have sex.
You're listening to the Brewing Network.
The session. Brewing up our next batch of radio gold.
Right now.
Welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us. Some things going on today. The Brewcaster Challenge is going to be happening here in just about a half an hour. But right now, we've got Blake Crosby on the line from B. Crosby Hop Farms. Hey, Blake, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for being on the show again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We've got some crazy Skype noise coming out of you, I think.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Might have to... Are you on a headset?
I am on a headset, yeah. How's it sound?
Try using the built-in mic instead. Sometimes the headsets have a bunch of feedback.
Yeah, what if you just rip that headset out?
You guys there?
Yeah, can you hear it?
We're here.
Yeah, what was that?
Perfect.
Yeah, he can't hear me either. I think they got his a sales guy with him too, Bo. Hey, Bo, you with us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys loud and clear.
There you are. Hi, Bo.
Yeah, how are y'all doing this evening?
Doing great. Hey, Bo, what do you do with Crosby Hops Farm?
Yeah, so I'm actually started out with Blake a couple years ago, and I'm actually in sales, so I'm making sure hops are going out the door.
Oh, good. I have a good question for you in a minute here, too.
Sure.
Let me work out getting Blake back on and see if we can get this happening.
Cool, having some technical issues, I understand.
Yeah, just a little bit. We'll see if we want him to sound great, so let's see if we can clean that up. Can you hear me now, Blake?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, much
there
better.
You go. That's better.
Okay, good. Must have been a bad connection or something.
Yeah. Are you still on the headset?
I'm still on the headset, yeah.
Okay, it's working for now. I hear a little bit of the noise. It might come back. We'll figure it out as we go.
It's weird because you guys are like kind of fading in and out as well.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know if it's just my country internet or what.
Could be.
Hey, I thought we had fiber optics, man. Come on.
Blake, let me ask you this. Do you have a landline there, too?
I do, yeah. Should we just do it that way?
Yeah, let's see if I can get you cleaner. Call me at, I'll type it into you, but it's 888-401-BEER.
All right, sounds good.
Let's try that. All right.
In the meantime, let's ask Bo. Hey, Bo, are hops selling themselves now? I mean, how much selling are you doing?
Well, I mean, it's starting off, a few years ago, it was a lot of us reaching out to guys, and now we're really starting to feel the love and the reciprocation back as hops really are selling themselves, so to speak.
The question I wanted to ask you about this too, and I just got back from the Craft Brewers Conference, so of course a lot of talk about hops and contracts and demand for hops.
Sure, we were there. We had a booth for the third year in a row.
Oh, good. So I guess the question I have is, are growers going to be able to keep up with demand? How do you see that happening right now?
Well, there's a lot of acreage that's currently being put in, especially here in Oregon. There are a few acres being put in, and Yakima as well. But I know that Idaho has put in a lot of acreage. And also there's kind of the micro hop farming revolution happening kind of across the country. But when you have higher yielding hops, as certain newer proprietary varieties, newer USDA public varieties are coming out, yes, I think that, give or, plus or minus a few years, I think it's going to be able to keep up. I don't really see a doom and gloom of the actual hop industry. I'm kind of seeing more of a diversification right now.
Good, because the worry out there is it's pretty doom and gloom. There's a lot of scary things being said, like with the amount of new breweries coming out and the hops not being able to keep up. I find it hard to believe, to be honest. I'm not buying into it per se, but there's a lot of scary stuff being said out there.
Yeah, and I think that's the rumor mongers, and sure, there are going to be certain varieties that are going to be highly sought after that certain homebrewers might not be able to get their hands on, either because of price or just because of availability. But I think all in all, just with the plethora of new varieties coming out, I mean, it's kind of a wide open world of hops right now. Pretty exciting.
Good. All right, let's try Blake. I think we got him on the line here too. Blake, can you hear us?
Yeah.
There we go. Now you're nice and clear.
Okay, good.
Now you sound like the handsome farmer that you are, Blake. All right.
I'm kind of embarrassed because Bo and I spent like a half hour today with headsets and testing, and we thought we had it dialed in, but apparently not.
I told you to spend at least an hour, Blake. Come on.
Okay, that's right. My bad.
These are the things. I'm sure that you have a list of things as a hop farmer that make you pull your hair out, and the inconsistency of Skype is the thing that makes me do that.
Honestly.
It doesn't matter how long you spend on it. You go to game time, and everything is screwed.
Yeah.
So,
no, it was weird. I was feeling real confident. Yeah. It was like, especially after last year, it worked perfectly. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Good effort anyway.
Yeah.
All right, folks at home, just so you know, you can go to B. Crosby Hops right now, bcrosbyhops.com, and that's the home of Crosby Hop Farm. I assume you can still pre-order rhizomes, right?
Yeah, we're still doing that, and season is wrapping up here in the next couple weeks, but we still have a few left in the cooler.
Okay. Excellent. So go do that if you're looking to grow some hops at home, and I recommend you do. Look, even if you're not going to brew with them, maybe you think you're not going to get enough or you're not brewing that often, they're a heck of a lot of fun to grow. They're nice to have around, and I think it adds to your brewing knowledge to be able to grow some hops. I've done it. I haven't done it in a couple years, but I've grown some hops before. They never came out very good, but that's because I don't have I have the opposite of a green thumb.
They take some work to get some flowers out of them.
I found that they just take a lot of water, and I would just forget even to do that.
There's that, too.
Well, you appreciate the processing that takes place on your behalf by the hop, processors.
Absolutely. So we wanted to talk to you guys today about some new hop varieties. And it seems to be, when we started this show 9 years ago, new hop varieties seemed a little bit few and far between. Every couple of years we would get to talk about something else.
You had your Amarillos and Simcoes and kind of those that were just emerging or becoming popular at the time.
But right now, and in the last couple of years, it seems like several new hops come out at a time. So it's pretty exciting. We have trouble keeping up with it.
Yeah, Bo and I were just talking about that before we got on the line, about how much our industry is changing and so rapidly. Just like you guys are saying, 9 years ago, you had hops, say, like Amarillo or Simcoe just hitting the scene, and maybe it was every couple years at best that you were able to get your hands on a new hop, or there was buzz around a new hop. And now, of course, every year at CBC, it seems like every hop vendor is releasing their very best of generally aroma, flavor type hops to the craft industry, of course. And it's just really amazing to see the type of material coming out, not only from, just the unique and different types of styles that these hops play well in, but just the sheer number of hops coming out. And I think it's exciting, but also maybe scary for some of us at the same time.
Which part is scary? Just being able to keep up with the different varieties, or?
Yeah, I think like being able to keep up with it, and I guess just wondering where it's all going. And I think if you were to talk to anyone in the industry, we all share that concern to a certain extent. And not that it's necessarily, I guess I don't say concern entirely in the negative sense of the term, but just maybe fear of the unknown.
Sure.
And really wondering not only where craft beer is going, which I think is in a really good direction, but with so many varieties coming out, I mean, this is totally uncharted territory for the hop industry, and it's been fun, and I think it's all been good thus far. But we continue to wonder how many varieties and how many names can this industry sustain and keep track of, and does it make each one that comes out, does it make the one before it that much less desirable or valuable? I mean, I don't know. I guess I wonder how much of it, that's kind of a question maybe to you guys or even the viewers, is how much of it is hype and how much of it is, actually substance. I don't know.
I think it's a good point that you bring up. I hadn't really thought about diluting the market, and even just diluting the hops in general. I always just thought, hey, new varieties, this is great. But if quality becomes a concern, or if people just can't even keep up with it anymore, maybe there is a point where they become less valuable to have more varieties.
Well,
that's kind of the thing that I wonder is, let's say I had a hop that I came out with a couple years ago, and maybe it was hot then, but since then, in 2 years now, maybe there's been 10 more hops that have come out after it that are garnering attention, or maybe they're all great hops as well, or even, who knows, maybe they're better. I don't know. But, under my hypothetical example, it's like my hop is, in a very crowded space where like you say, back to Amarillo, for instance, say 10 years ago, that wasn't a very crowded space.
Right. Yeah, and here you've invested time and money in Hop X, and sure, if it becomes out of fashion, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, and then being real careful as a hop breeder and supplier that you're not putting out such a similar style of hop, as maybe something you've already released, that you begin to cannibalize the market share of maybe another variety you already have in the market.
Yeah.
So that really doesn't do anything for you.
Sure.
Other than create hype, I guess.
JP, did you have a question here, too?
More of a comment. I guess it's kind of just like craft beer in itself. At what point are there too many breweries?
Yeah. And
people are just going to kind of either stick with the things that they know and they're not going to expand anymore, or they're just kind of over it. It's too much.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? When the breweries start to fail, so the market will dictate how much it can sustain.
Yeah.
I think with hops, some of the varieties or some of the new varieties that are hitting the market get sometimes oversold and misinterpreted by the brewers as the next big thing in terms of a big signature hop like an IPA hop. There's more interesting things going on with potentially more subtle beers. And not every new hop that has a fancy name that hits the market is supposed to be the next Citra,
right,
or the next Simcoe, or something like that.
See, that's my opinion on the outside. That's what I think every new hop is. It's designed to be an IPA hop because it's all either lemony or melony or some kind of citrus, some kind of citrus focused hop, and that's uninteresting to me because I don't like IPAs. But I think that's going to change the face of the IPA is when people start keep using these new hops that are more citrus focused. In 5 years, I don't think IPA is going to be the same as it is now.
Blake, what do you think about this phenomenon?
Well, I just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents that I really feel like it depends on where you are. In the U.S., I deal with a bunch of craft brewers pretty much all across the country, from Oregon to Texas, Florida, all the way up to Maine, and you can really see some differences in certain varieties that breweries are picking up. And, I work quite closely with a lot of southeastern breweries, which is a very happening and budding craft brewery market right now, as you could imagine, being in AB country, and I'm really seeing, especially in Texas, like a huge emergence of like craft lagers that are coming online, and certain varieties that we're growing like Sterling or Mount Hood or any of our Goldings are really being eaten up pretty quickly. So it's kind of exciting to see that. Of course, IPA is still reigning supreme, but there's shifts in every market.
Blake, what do you think about JP's comment that maybe every new hop variety is geared toward IPAs? Is that accurate?
I mean, I think I agree completely, and I think, of course, the reason for that is because it seems like every brewery is geared toward IPA.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're on the West Coast, so we're really inundated, but I mean, IPA is that's the style. That's the signature style of craft right now. And of course, all of us hop folks and breeders are chasing that market.
Yeah.
And that's where, obviously they're using tons of hops, and the type of volume, even if you can get just a little portion of that market, can be quite tremendous, especially even for, say, a grower who maybe is doing breeding as well as growing and releases one of their own signature hops, and it gets, say, a larger or even a mid-size brewer who has maybe a really signature IPA begins using it, and then there's hype, and then another brewer starts using it, and so on and so forth, and all of a sudden that turns into a lot of volume pretty quickly with the hopping rates that are being dosed in a lot of these IPAs.
Sure.
Yeah. What's the average right now? It's a little over how many pounds per barrel going to
into IPAs?
The average, according to BA, the overall average hopping rate in craft right now, I believe, is around 1.2 or 1.3 pounds per barrel.
Right.
Okay.
That's not just IPA, that's across the board.
No.
Yeah.
That's across the board, and, obviously that there's guys using probably 5 pounds per barrel or more, who knows, in some of these IPAs, and then you have guys using much less and, whatever, lighter lager style stuff.
And you have the guys using a lot of hops in beers that aren't IPAs, too.
What about the sustainability of the hop supplies? How long at the current growth rate, let's say, of craft beer, can the growers continue to keep up with demand? It's just a huge volume, it seems like.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and I can definitely say as growers, we've never ever would have predicted this or ever thought that our products would be so demanded, and it's not a bad thing, of course, but it is challenging because on the same token you want to be able to keep up with it, because I think if we can't keep up with it, those beers are still going to get made, but maybe they get made with hops from other countries, or maybe they get made a little more creatively, and brewers start using other hop products. Maybe instead of whole hops or pellets, craft brewers lean more towards downstream products, as we call them, like maybe hop oils or extracts, which of course we would hate to see for the long-term viability of our industry, because those are the kind of products that are very, very highly efficient, and albeit not very craft, so to speak. But you can't help but think if the hop industry were not able to keep up at a sustainable level, that craft brewers might have to look at some of those other hopping options. But I think it's a really impossible question to answer. I do know that there is still room to expand, I think, in all 3 states, Oregon, Washington, and Idaho. And I do believe that there's a lot of growers that are, willing to make the investments necessary. But I think a lot is yet to be seen.
Because that's an industry that's been shrinking a lot over the last 15, 20 years, and now it's expanding once again?
Yeah, exactly. And it was not only shrinking from an acreage standpoint, but even just R&D and investment and youth and folks that are just generally interested in it. And now it's totally flipped the other way, where, as we're probably going to talk about later, we have more people than ever interested in hops, and we have people in every state at least attempting to grow hops, it seems like.
Yeah. Why do you think that hop oil is considered sort of less craft than, I guess, whole cone? Or do we in this room feel that way?
And I guess that's just my assumption. I as a hop grower,
I think they were typically produced for light lager breweries, but they don't get used in the way as that craft brewers use them to produce flavor typically. You wouldn't use a bunch of hop oil late in the boil or in a dry hop or something like that to create a signature flavor.
If somebody like Blake was producing that product with that intention, would we see that change? Could you do that?
If it was, I do think that there is a perception, and whether or not it's true, and it certainly depends on the product itself, but there is and would be a perception that if you're using hop oils, you're cutting corners a little bit. However, I guarantee you that some of our favorite breweries and brewers do use hop oils. They do tend to use them in the bittering part of the process, early in the boil, right? Rather than as an aroma type of product.
You use that to put less vegetal matter in the kettle. Essentially,
yeah, it's more of a practicality issue than a recipe choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they're using so much late hop.
Certainly the double IPAs. It's all about the double IPAs when they're trying to reach that certain gravity, or trying to get that certain IBU level.
Right.
They have to use hop oils.
But if Blake, for example, produced a hop extract that really cornered the market on flavor and aroma, like if you could use it late, I don't think that craft brewers would be against doing it. It's not some chemical. It comes from hops.
Right.
So.
And I think there are some hop vendors that are trying to do that right now. I know there was a group at CBC that presented some late edition type of aroma hop oils that are aimed towards craft brewers. So, maybe that's just that they're seeing the writing on the wall, and they feel that going forward, craft brewers are going to need that option.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's been around for off and on. I think 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I remember seeing some aroma oils out, but they went away real fast.
Yeah.
I don't think they smelled very good.
The quality wasn't there yet.
Yeah, their quality wasn't there. They were, I think, just generic aroma, maybe mainly Cascade. I don't necessarily remember, but
I think it was,
they went away real fast.
Citrus and flower, or some turnip flowery or something.
It didn't quite have the impact I think that craft brewers are looking for, but that
could change.
Exactly. I think there's more interest in making those kind of things better. Just like the extracts for bittering used to have a poor reputation and kind of a bad sensory impression. There have been ways that those are created now, hypercritical CO2 and whatnot, that apparently have better flavor perception or just better consistency.
Okay.
That'll probably happen on the aroma and flavor side eventually, too.
So, before we move on to some of the new hop varieties, which I really want to spend some time on, I wanted to ask you, Blake, about the difference between proprietary hops, proprietary growing, breeding for that matter, too, and I guess, I don't even know if I'm using the right term, but public hops, because there does seem to be two categories here, right?
Yeah, that's correct, and those are the right terms. And the public side of hop breeding has been around for many decades, and don't quote me on this, but I'd hazard to say back probably in the 50s and 60s, the public program really started taking off. And, of course, all publicly funded, mainly driven by the USDA. And those are where varieties that we all grew up on, so to speak, came from, such as Cascade, Willamette, Chinook, Centennial, Crystal. So a lot of the really popular craft hops that this industry was built on all came from public breeding programs, whether it be, like I said, USDA or some offshoot of those programs. Oregon State University, as well as Washington State University, all have their respective programs as well. It probably wasn't until the mid to late 90s that we really saw kind of a surge of private interest with respect to hop breeding, and these are mainly some of the larger global hop traders that entered this arena, highly focused on breeding a super alpha variety for the global alpha demand and to sort of corner that market in a way, I guess you could say. Those efforts were somewhat successful. In other cases, they were disastrous, I would say, just because of, just the general issues with starting anything new and disease pressures, and there was some varieties that came out of private programs maybe a little too quickly that didn't do very well, not only agronomically but also in the marketplace. So over time, there's always been that private arm in the background, but by and large, the public breeding program kind of commanded the market and also the flow of new varieties. And the reason for that is because it was everyone's program, and we all had access to the varieties as growers, and as marketers, there was no restrictions or distribution agreements or anything like that. However, fast forward to today with the craft brewing going the way it is, and aroma hops being, of course, hotter than ever, U.S. aroma hops in particular, and we've had a number of private companies emerge out of that to fill the niche and satisfy the demand for new flavors and new aromas, and by and large, because as we all know, public entities such as the Public Hop Breeding Program have suffered with funding sequestration and other pitfalls of relying on the federal government for money. And because of that, they haven't been as competitive, and they haven't released some of the more innovative stuff as of late as the private guys have. And we've really seen kind of this divergence as a result. And most of the new varieties, frankly, that we've seen that have been successful in the last number of years have been private companies releasing the likes of Citra, Simcoe, Amarillo, some of the ones we'll talk about today, such as Equinox and Lemon Drop, and so on and so forth. But also what we're going to talk about is some of the public varieties that have finally kind of emerging out of what I would call sort of the new and reinvigorated public program that the growers have helped sort of recraft in a way. So we have some competitive varieties that are available to everybody.
Excellent. So before you mention the new varieties from the public programs, remind us of some of the varieties that have come from the public program within the last 5 or 6 years that we may or may not know of.
The last 5 or 6 years have kind of been the ho-hum years, I would say, and I can't really say that there's anything too exciting, frankly, as much as I hate to say that.
Or maybe back slightly further than that, something like the last few that we may recognize.
Yeah, so I mean, just kind of a bittering hop, so nothing that would have made a huge splash anyway in the craft scene probably, but a variety called Newport came out in the last 5 or 6 years.
I remember that one.
And yeah, that's a public hop. That was bred in Corvallis, Oregon at OSU.
Santiam, is that another one? That was
Santiam, yeah.
That's a nice one. It's like a Tettnang kind of a...
Yeah, that's actually, that is a very nice hop that really serves...
Underrated,
sort of underrated, yeah, definitely, but serves that total, lager, sort of Pilsner, whatever, more kind of lighter style, Noble-esque sort of hop. And that one came out, that was probably in the last 10 years, maybe a little longer than the 5 or 6, but there was one called Bitter Gold that came out, I think, in maybe 2000 or around there. Glacier came out not too terribly long ago. That one's kind of been popular here and there in the craft industry.
Yep. Yeah, it hit a peak and then kind of really went away for a while, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely there's more, of course. This is all off the top of my head, but yeah. So there's some out there for sure, but it really, none of the heavy hitters, and of course all the classics, the real heavy hitting classics, are all from the public program.
Okay.
But the last 10 years have just been kind of like really, I guess, sort of flat in a way.
I'm curious about the history. Do you know why it was a priority for the FDA to look into hops in the 50s and 60s?
I'm actually not very well versed in that history, and I should have done a little more homework before I jumped on this call. But
that's all right.
Well,
yeah.
Tasty, you have an answer?
Rest assured, they were putting as much time into corn and wheat as well. It's not like it's just an agricultural product. That's just what they do.
Well,
it wasn't like they were looking ahead and seeing the craft revolution or something.
No, and that's kind of why I asked, is that it seems counterintuitive, because that was a time when all beer in the United States was the same variety. So what were they looking to have varieties of hops for at a time when all beer was the same?
It was probably just economic development in general. Like, you have X number of people who are hop growers. You want to kind of see them be able to survive and succeed on some level. Kind of like how corn is subsidized to this day, right? You want to let the family farm survive, right?
An allocation of resources more than than like a big investment in
Well, it
hops.
worked. Anheuser-Busch was the biggest user of Cascade forever. They just use so little in their beer that you can't tell it's Cascade.
And it was probably more of not new varieties, but new strains to produce the alpha acids, like kind of like that are now, right? A lot of the new hops that are coming out are super high alpha, and that's just because of crossbreeding and trying to get the most out of a yield. I don't think it's because Budweiser wanted 15 different varieties of hops.
No, exactly. It was all agronomics driven primarily, and the purpose, as the purpose of course still is today, is to breed a hop that's ideally more productive than the last hop you had to help make it, more economical and more competitive in the marketplace. So producing, whether that's producing more alpha acid for an alpha user per acre, or producing just more raw pounds per acre, or maybe even higher oil contents, for an aroma user.
Yeah. I got to get us to a break, and I want to come back and talk about new hops. But I did want to ask you real quick, Blake, if you guys are involved at Crosby in any private hops, any breeding, any growing that you guys are doing.
I can't speak too much to that at this point, but we do have a few things we work on here and there, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the coming years something came from our farm, but
excellent.
I'll just leave it at that.
I mean, I guess I'm just curious who's getting into the game too, because I will say the capitalist in me is happy that people are finding proprietary hops and are able to make a buck and really kind of cultivate something, put in the effort, and then kind of own it for the period of time that helps them grow as a business. But I don't know, I guess the socialist in me or the beer fan in me, maybe it's like a cross between the two.
The Democratic.
Wishes they were all public, and that if you could put in the money if you could invest the money in your farm to grow Citra because everybody wants more Citra, the beer fan in me wants you to be able to do that, So.
Yeah, and I'd like to think, and who knows, but I think we might be coming to a place sooner than later where, because this proprietary thing is becoming so large and such a portion of the market, that we could be to a place where you'll see more licensing agreements in place. So perhaps royalties attached to hops where, if someone does want to grow a Citra, for instance, just as a hypothetical example, perhaps the proprietor would issue a license in exchange for a certain agreed upon royalty and so on and so forth. Because you're right, the people who invest in these varieties, these winning hop varieties, deserve to be compensated. I mean, it's not without risk or investment that those varieties came about.
Right, absolutely.
You guys realize what this means? There's going to be a big hop. Like there's a big pharma, big oil, big hop.
There'll be big hop. Yeah, there already is. We just don't talk about it.
Yeah, you just don't know these guys. This is shadowy.
Blake's about to be with his mystery variety he's working on.
Right. All right, let's do this. I'm going to get us to a real quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk new varieties with Blake and Bo. You can hit the chat button on our homepage, and Bevo's in there taking your questions right now. You could also call 888-401-BEER. We'll be right back with B. Crosby Hop Farm. Hang in there.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. On the Brewing Network.
We already know you like beer, but do you like history, science fiction, gaming, fantasy? Award-winning home brewer Don Dem is writing a book just for you.
Cedarstein is about brewing with your imagination. I wanted to bring people together from all of my hobbies. The result is a how-to DVD and a cookbook with recipes like the Dwarven Stout, Brew 42, and my favorite, the Brown Dragon Ale made with habanero peppers.
Cedarstein is a recipe book and a how-to DVD. The only way you'll be able to get it is to fund Don's Kickstarter campaign. Pledge $5 or more and get some great rewards while funding a truly unique idea in homebrewing. Cedarstein Homebrew. Find it on Kickstarter and pledge while you can.
Thank you so very much for pledging your support to Cedarstein Homebrew.
Cedarstein Homebrew. Kickstarter ends May 4th.
That's it. I've had it. I am never
never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small. Single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy f***ing shit!
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Hey, my brewing brothers and sisters. This is Jamel Zanishev, and I want to tell you about my favorite heretic beer, Shallow Grave Porter. I love the rich, malty character of this beer. While full and rich, Shallow Grave has an easy drinking finish that isn't too sweet. I've always loved my homebrew porter recipe, so when it's time to brew Heretic Shallow Grave, I started with that in mind. But I tweaked it with all my latest recipe ideas. Just like in homebrewing, I made sure we used only the finest malts that would produce the ideal flavor for this beer. We used select British malts to get the rich chocolate and caramel flavors, and we spared no expense. The result is a beer as dark as a moonless night, with hints of vanilla, coffee, and chocolate, perfect for a cool evening out in the woods. Cheers.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and the freshest ingredients, backed by the best customer service in the business. New items include the Big Oxygen Kit for economical wort aeration using common welding oxygen tanks, and the Unistat line of external thermostats for easy control of both electric heaters and refrigerators. In addition, they've just mashed their new oatmeal stout malt extract, so you can make those tasty winter oatmeal stouts and porters without mashing. Go to williamsbrewing.com today and browse their vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 4 p.m. Pacific Time weekdays ship the same day. Brewing is easy. The Williams way.
Hey, Wooly, I'm beat. Can we find a nice tree to just hang out in for a while?
You're beat. I've been swinging through this forest for 50 years, ever since we first escaped from the circus.
I know, but there's got to be more to life than exploring this creek and trying to populate the valley by copulating with loose, hairy girls.
Marquis, stop. Look.
What is that?
It looks like a man-made treehouse.
With fresh food.
And craft beer.
Welcome to the Creek Monkey Tap House, boys. Grab a seat. Creek Monkeys drink free.
Awesome!
The Creek Monkey Tap House in Martinez, California takes their mission of fresh food and beer seriously. They only serve locally raised beef and chicken, as well as local sustainable produce. It's better for you and the planet, and it just tastes better. The beer and wine at Creek Monkey Tap House are chosen with the same care for the highest quality and rotate frequently to make each visit an adventure. Swing on into the Creek Monkey Tap House and enjoy a new legend of amazing food, beer, and wine. The Creek Monkey Tap House, online at creekmonkey.com.
Ewa, what's it feel like?
Take awesome and multiply it by 2.
Yeah!
Spraying live beer radio all over your face.
Can't get any better than this, baby!
It's the Brewing Network.
Tuned into this session.
Because life's too short to listen to crappy radio.
All right, welcome back to the program. Thanks for hanging out with us. Hey, don't forget about our friends over at Saderstein. That's right, Saderstein Homebrew. It's actually a brand new project on Kickstarter that bridges the gap between hobbies. It takes science fiction, fantasy, gaming, mythology, and even history and exploring it through beer. Don Dem, the man behind it all, wants to make it easier for people to dive into the hobby, feel confident when they're there, and try their hand at brewing and have some fun. So you can go check out the homebrew. It's the best way to find it over on Kickstarter. The campaign is actually just to Google Saderstein, Satyr Stein, Saderstein. Or you can go to Kickstarter and search it that way. And there's a whole video there where Don actually explains the entire project to you himself. And it's a really great project. People are backing him over there right now. So just search Saderstein over there on Google or Kickstarter. And check out the video. It's a lot of fun, and you'll be toasting the yeast for some time to come. All right, let's get back to talking hops here.
Let's do it.
We got Blake and Bo from Crosby Hop Farm with us. You still there, fellas?
Yeah, there you go.
Excellent. So let's start talking about some new hop varieties. I have a couple on my list here, but what do you guys want to talk about first? Give us some goods.
Well, I think I was going to leave this one up to Bo. He's a little more well-versed. Like I said, there's so many of them coming out anymore, it's hard for me to keep up sometimes.
Okay, Bo, what's on your list?
Well, I would definitely say that one that interests me quite a bit, at least from the private proprietary strains, was the Lemon Drop that was just came out just a couple weeks ago at this Craft Brewers Conference, and I was thoroughly impressed with that one. I was able to have an opportunity to not only try a few beers with it, but also rub and sniff and do the whole thing. And I felt like Lemon Drop is pretty interesting. Obviously, it's pretty self-explanatory when it comes to the aroma that you'll get from it. And once again, one of these hops is going to be geared towards IPAs and late additions, dry hopping. And I think it complements the Calypso well, which is, of course, another variety that was bred in the same program.
Okay.
And so that's just the first one that I was able to kind of experience when I was there at the Craft Brewers Conference. Did you guys have an opportunity to get your nose in one of those?
No, I didn't, but I did want to ask you about how a launch goes like that. Obviously, they can bring some of the hops themselves, and like you said, you get to kind of crush them and smell them. But who makes the beers? Like when you get to taste a beer with these things, do they just reach out to commercial breweries and say, "Hey, will you experiment with this for us?"
Typically, what I've noticed is that a lot of the some of the bigger hop suppliers will actually reach out to some of their marquee regional craft brewers and really give them the authority and allow them to play with it. And of course, you're going to have your smash beers, so you can get the eccentricities of all of the hops. But of course, I think there's a whole realm outside of just the IPA craze, as mentioned beforehand, and certain varieties like that, I think really allow the brewer it's a huge spectrum of what they can do, whether or not they want to use a certain hop variety in a Belgian or in any other kind of styles for that matter.
Right. And let me ask you this, because you mentioned that Calypso came out of this same program.
Yes.
Does it often happen that in the course of breeding a new hop, of trying to get something out there, that a company or whoever's doing it ends up with multiple varieties out of it? Because that's just the process of getting there?
Yeah, there's anytime you're breeding hops, you're making crosses between, I think we talked about this last year on the rhizome segment, which was kind of funny to some people, but there are male and female hops.
Yeah.
And it is a plant sexual process of cross-pollination. And when the male pollinates the female being the hop that produces the fruit or the cones that are marketable and used in brewing, those cones bear seeds. And out of a single cross or a family, of course, you could have as many offspring as you might have crossed for. If you're crossing numerous plants, you're going to have, the more plants you cross, you're going to have more seeds. And it's definitely possible that you could have a release, I suppose, of new varieties that happen to be sisters, so to speak.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it just would seem like a natural byproduct would be to end up with more than one quality new variety.
Yeah, I think out of any given like breeding year, you will see it's not a very high percentage because so many of them get cut out for agronomical reasons or just poor brewing value or not a good aroma, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But out of a single breeding year, there will be a small percentage. I think I've heard from breeders it's maybe 1 to 3% that'll move ultimately into sort of the elite class of front runners to be released.
Okay. All right. Bo, what else is on your list there? Did you get to try some other new ones?
Well, there is the Equinox, whichever you prefer, which came out recently as well, which is part of the Select Botanicals and Haas varieties. Are you all not drinking that right now? Is there some kind of...
Yeah, I brought a bottle of a HBC 344, which is what it was called before. It was called Equinox.
Oh, really?
Brought an IPA made with that hop. Got a tiny little amount of it and brewed an IPA.
How did you
focused around highlighting or showcasing what's going on with that one.
Yeah, where'd you come up with the hop, Nate?
It was actually the folks at Damien at Summit Brewing. When I was there in February, they had a couple of boxes of it, and he was kind enough to share a little bit.
Nice.
Good old Damo. Good old generous Damo.
Yeah, it's got a really interesting citrus and tropical fruit with a little bit of pine. It's really familiar in some ways, but it's got its own unique twist that's a little bit unlike other American varieties. It's got a really high oil content. It can be as high as almost 4% oils.
Okay.
I think that's one reason why they probably picked it out. And if it was crop stable, you folks probably know the story better than I do, so help me understand. But it has so much oil that seems ideal for the IPA-focused craft brew market.
Yeah, I think that IPA hop market is no doubt going and trending towards higher oil hops, and you're going to continue to see hops being released from various programs, public and private, that are geared towards that higher oil content, specifically for IPAs.
Some of that is genetic, and some of it is how the hop is grown too. Correct?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. I mean, you need to start with a good genetic platform to get there, but it also can be influenced somewhat by picking timing. The later picked hops generally have a higher oil content versus the more early picked hops, which can be slightly less.
Is there a correlation between the alpha acid typically and the amount of oil, or are they not necessarily related?
I would say not necessarily related. Again, not being a hop breeder professionally, I wouldn't speak too much to that, but just from my own observations, I would say not necessarily related. But I do feel that a lot of high alpha hops also have relatively high oil contents, but I've also seen some high alpha hops that really don't stand out from a total oil perspective. So I think there could be a correlation, but I don't know how direct it is all the time.
And total oil isn't always the best measurement. Sometimes it's the type of oil and how it's perceived in the final product. It could be low in oil, but have a really high concentration of some really interesting character.
Yeah, you hear a lot of terms tossed around, but myrcene is a big one where I think a lot of that is your citrus kind of floral notes. Linalool is also a big one you hear tossed around, and generally speaking, just as a total generalization, when the percentage relative to total oil of myrcene or linalool, for instance, is high, those hops are perceived as being good. So, for whatever that is worth.
This hop tastes great, Nate. And
it's a neat hop, yeah.
That pine flavor that you mentioned is really nice in it. It's subtle, but not so subtle that you don't really... You pick it out. It's there.
It's one of these hops that drives a lot of complexity just as one single hop. So I think part of what people could potentially do around a hop like this is this is potentially a risk too, but you're creating a IPA or some pale ale or American-focused beer around that hop variety and maybe only that, or maybe one other, and that's about it.
Okay. Yeah.
I think that's kind of what a lot of the growers and breeders want to provide, is that some interesting signature quality that allows you to create that, and you only need that to get what you want. I want to ask about lemon drop. This sounds really interesting to me, and I'm curious what breeding program that comes from. Who did Calypso and lemon drop?
It actually comes out of the Hopsteiner breeding program.
Got it.
Okay.
So the same folks that brought us hops like Apollo and that kind of thing?
Yeah, Apollo, Bravo, Delta, Calypso, and I think that the whole Lemon Drop name actually was more derived, not necessarily from the company themselves, and that was just what I've heard, but from the brewers coming back with positive reviews and certain descriptors and whatnot, and that's just hearsay, of course, but I think it's a great name.
Like it earned its name.
I want to talk about the one that I think has the best name for a hop that I may have ever seen, and that's Medusa. It's such a badass name for a hop. I don't know why, but that is going to sell IPAs.
Because it's Greek, and Greeks make everything really badass.
I see. So, what can you tell me about Medusa?
Well, actually, that's actually coming out of CLS Farms up in Yakima.
Okay.
And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think it was Eric Desmarais who actually was one of the hop breeders who was involved in that one. And I think the reason that the whole name of Medusa came about was that the actual hop cones themselves actually produced maybe more than one cone or head, I guess you would call, quote unquote. And I actually did not have an opportunity to smell this one when I was at the Craft Brewers Conference, but I'm super interested to see how it performs in the industry and its certain agronomics. But I have heard that it is from the variation of Cumulus lupulus neomexicanus, which is actually a derivative of Colorado and New Mexico. So it's slightly different.
So, go ahead, Blake.
Oh,
sounded like you had something.
You could
to
hear me about to talk, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I just was gonna make a stupid joke about how the hop is deformed. That's how I got it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I just Googled Medusa, and I haven't actually seen a picture of the cone until now, but it does look deformed. But I do think before they called it Medusa, they called it multi-head, and I can see why now, because it looks like there's actually like two cones kind of split into one cone. Well, basically you have one big cone and you got kind of like this side cone. It looks like a mini cone coming off the side of the big cone. So it's definitely architecturally really interesting. As Bo noted, it is the only species of Neo-Mexicanus that is being grown commercially, at least as far as we know. They're saying intense guava, melon, apricot, and citrus fruit. So I'm not sure how much that tells us, because I feel like most hop descriptions I read these days have those same words, but I think it definitely sounds interesting.
All right, JP, come over here, and folks at home, you can do this. Just Google Medusa hops right now in the images. This is the professional image that I have found of the Medusa hop.
It looks, it's the side view of a penis.
It's the side view of a
It has a ball sack.
The extra cone is a ball sack.
Right.
That's the Jolly Green Giants jump.
I'm just gonna throw this out there and say you wish.
Or it looks like a rabbit, like the rabbit. That's what it is. It's like, if you go to AdamandEve.com right now, search for the
yes,
the little
JP.
The small cones, the little tickle thing.
As a tickler.
That's what you should call it, the tickler.
The tickler.
What did you Google? I'm just seeing chicks with snakes as head.
I just Medusa hops.
That's it?
And then it's...
Oh, there it is. Oh, no, I see it.
Yeah.
Wow, it is a penis.
Anyway, well, now I don't think it's as awesome as I did before.
You want to drink it, don't you? You want to drink the essence that comes
Whatever
from that.
comes out of
You like the old name multi-head more.
Whatever it is.
It sounds like nobody here has tried a beer with Medusa in it, though, including Bo and Blake. Right?
Yep. No. Nothing.
Nope.
Well, this could be one that's hyped up then, just because it has a rad name.
Oh, Nate's already made 4 beers with it.
No, I wish I would if I had my hands on it. But
right.
They do, you guys are making a point. The new hops that do hit the market seem to have a lot of, guava, melon, apricot. You get these kind of descriptors sort of thrown at you when you hear about it.
Yeah.
So, do you think that the breeders are focusing on something different than this berry melon thing that we've seen over the last few years, or are we going to see more of that over time?
It's kind of a running joke here at the farm, because I swear every hop description I read, and I even heard you guys use this earlier as a description yourselves, includes the word tropical somewhere.
Yeah.
The citrus started that, I think.
Who started that?
Citrus started that, at least in terms of the common craft brewer thing now.
Yeah, and it's obviously it's a great attribute to have.
But it also doesn't say much.
But it doesn't say much, and it's kind of I feel like the term tropical is being commoditized a bit because it's used by everybody, or there's some sort of, sub-meaning of it used by everybody, which, not to pick on anyone in particular, because I think we all do it. But like we were saying earlier, is where does this all go? Because from my perspective, I'm getting, it gets kind of boring to read the same description over and over again and just see a different name tied to it.
Yeah.
Albeit, these hops are all unique for sure, and they're all, many of them are really awesome hops, but it's just kind of getting a little bit, I suppose it's just like the IPA thing in general. We're seeing the hops trail that. We have all these IPAs that are, big, bold, dank, citrus, tropical, whatever, floral, fruity.
Yeah.
But so are all the hops now. And so it's kind of like, I don't know, where we're going is, I guess it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, is I guess it's sort of, it's fun, it's cool, but from a production standpoint, it's a little scary because, there's so much investment involved in what we do that to just push all these new varieties out there and invest in not only breeding them, but growing them and marketing them, and just to see maybe some other variety come out the next year with a cooler name and better marketing or whatever.
Right.
It still is tropical and citrus or whatever, but, it takes all the hype and now guys start buying that one, or,
well,
it's kind of weird.
You'll jump the shark when you start coming out with a session IPA hop.
a tropical session IPA hop.
Right. I mean, because it's the same
and,
thing.
Frankly, from our standpoint, I think we're seeing that a little bit. I mean, just with some of our customers, we are definitely seeing that trend towards maybe not quite craft lager, so to speak. I mean, there is that, of course, but definitely the more sessionable, kind of the daytime sort of IPA, so to speak.
Yeah.
And hops that are maybe not your typical IPA hops going into some of those beers.
I got one for you, JP. Tropical Session Black IPA fermented with 100% Brett.
The trendiest beer on earth.
Right. I mean, it's a good point.
Barrel-aged.
Like the word tropical is kind of, used to describe everything, but, and it's the same
throw that thing in oak. Hold on.
Yeah, it's the same thing with IPA. I mean, just session IPA, they're counterintuitive to one another. It doesn't necessarily really describe anything, and I think he's right with the term tropical.
Yeah.
It's very similar. It's just a word that people, it's a keyword, it's a buzzword that people are looking at, and they search a description. Oh, tropical? I know I like that. I'll try that one.
Yeah.
Well, I think people looking for like not citrus or not pine. Something different than the classic American stuff, and the tropicals become the kind of catch-all buzzword for that at the moment.
Which is
doesn't really tell you much.
It's starting to become the classic American.
Right.
What do you think are descriptors that would pique your interest if you read them?
Stout.
Boobs.
Good.
Yeah. It's really booby.
Things like that.
Yeah.
All right, we're running out of time, but is there any other new varieties worth talking about, Bo?
The USDA hops that have just been released in the past year.
Oh, so those are public ones then, yeah?
Public varieties. Last but certainly not least, I would definitely say that so Odell actually did a bunch of smash beers with the Cashmere, Triple Pearl, and Tahoma. And actually, no, I think they did a fourth one with Yakima Gold as well. And I got a lot of really good responses from the Cashmere, which is actually a daughter of Cascade. It was bred at Washington State University. And I particularly like the Triple Pearl, which came out of Oregon. I'm a little biased, of course, which came out of the USDA. And Tahoma, which is the daughter of Glacier, came out of Washington State University. So those are three varieties that anyone can grow here in the U.S. So
excellent.
It's open season.
So the public program has not halted. It's just maybe not getting all the fanfare. There's less marketing dollars behind Tahoma than some of the other private ones.
I certainly think that's a lot of it, for sure. Is the lack of funding. When it comes down to, are you going to pay for infrastructure or are you going to pay for some hops breeding?
Yeah.
There's certain priorities, and that's unfortunate that they can't divert some of those taxpayer dollars to the development of some public varieties. But we're super excited to kind of see these guys, and I think it has a lot to do with a lot of the bigger regional craft brewers putting out beer, showing interest in this because growers are just kind of sitting back and they're waiting, and then they're always watching the market. And as soon as one of like a cashmere beer, for example, like let's say that one of the bigger regional craft breweries actually puts out a beer with cashmere in it. Hypothetically, let's say Section IPA, it wins a GABF award, goes to the World Beer Cup, just blows up. Then of course everyone's going to try to follow that trend. So it's just kind of simply a matter of time.
Okay. Well, it's good to know. And it's good to know that there's still public hops being put out there, too.
I would actually say that the public program is increasingly becoming stronger than ever, and thanks to some hop growers within the Pacific Northwest hop growing community that have really stepped up in the last couple of years and frankly reinvigorated the program. And we've actually I've been kind of part of this on the periphery, but actually restructured the program so there's more grower involvement, and there's actually growers now that are essentially growing out all the seedlings and doing all the advanced trials on the farm rather than doing them at the universities. And so we're using sort of the intellectual capital that's already within the system, but we're leveraging the experience and the knowledge of the hop growing community to actually do more of sort of the grunt work, I guess, to put it simply, and grow out these seedlings and manage, tens of thousands of these every year. And it's only been a couple years that this has been formatted this way. However, from all what I can tell, being familiar with a lot of the private programs somewhat and knowing this public program very well, is that I would predict that in the future you're going to see increasingly more public varieties hitting the market that are going to be commercially successful.
Love it.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Like to hear it.
I think we did hit a flat spot, like I said, for the last 10 years, but this industry was built on public varieties, and I definitely don't see the public program going away. And like I say, in fact, I think it's getting stronger because people are realizing now that this hop market's coming back how important it is to have, a certain pool of varieties that we can all access. And, that's not to say that the proprietary thing isn't great, because frankly the proprietary thing has been great in that it's driven a lot of interest for such unique and new flavor, and really has pushed the limits for the whole industry. So I think both are important.
Sure. The kind of money that can go into the private really boosts innovation too. So as long as both,
they've kind of set the bar for us.
Excellent. All right, folks, you can go to bcrosbyhops.com right now. Still a little time to get your rhizomes over there. And Blake, it's always great to talk to you. You've been great in the past and excellent information this time, too. And you also, Bo. Thanks for you guys for being on the show. I really appreciate the info.
Thank you. Yeah, likewise. Thanks so much for having us again.
Well, we'll talk to you again next year, Blake. I think it's now a tradition, right?
I think so.
It seems that there's never a shortage of good hop topics. So, thanks for being such a strong supporter of the show. bcrosbyhops.com, everybody. And thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
All right. There you go.
What are you going to do if Blake's next big hop variety that he develops, he's like, this is my new hop grenade?
I'll sue your ass, Blake. I'll sue you in a second after I send a very polite email.
Oh, I see. That's how it is, huh? That's how it is?
Yeah.
I'm stoked the public programs are making a comeback.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
It's been absent from the scene. I figured they were gone forever.
No.
Yeah, cool. we need more versions of tropical. We need it.
I'll spend my tax dollars on that.
Mai Tai. This one's not tropical, it's Mai Tai.
Right. Yeah. Need more IPA hops. It'd be great.
Mojito. All right. Are you ready, Nate? For the
Are
you ready to
Schwartz?
You ready to taste fuck Nate and the Schwartz?
God damn, you guys are harsh.
Are you talking about the listener's dildo or your beer?
It's the session. Hang in there.
No, by multi-head.
You're listening to the Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
All
Alright, BN Army, it's trivia time. What's the only homebrew shop with over 1,000 recipe kits, $4.99 shipping on orders over $100, and is also home of the Wolf Shirt? The one and only answer is Austin Homebrew Supply. For over 20 years, they've specialized in creating recipes such as the best-selling Texas Blonde Ale, Apocalypso, Hot Bomb 2.0, and Double Chocolate Stout. And they just recently unveiled their small grain kits that produce 1 gallon of beer. Visit AustinHomebrew.com to browse their extensive catalog of equipment and ingredients. They also have mini clone recipes of your favorite commercial beers. They're the exclusive retailer of BrewVent Yeast Fuel as well, Yeast Nutrient, and the all-new Bodybuilder. Follow Austin Homebrew Supply on Google Plus to participate in video hangouts on popular brewing topics. So visit AustinHomebrew.com today and make sure you sign up for their weekly email with news and specials. Austin Homebrew Supply, AustinHomebrew.com.
As a brewer, you already don't settle for second best. You want great tasting beer and you want great equipment to make it with. So don't settle for the second best grain mill. You want a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware. Monster Mills are tough, come in 2 and 3 roller designs, and are made right here in the USA from superior materials for longer lasting performance. Pick the mill that's right for you at monsterbrewinghardware.com and take Bevo's advice.
Trust me, it's always better to have a bigger tool than you think you need.
Monster Mills have the best warranty in the business. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit monsterbrewinghardware.com now and check out all the mills and mill accessories. Don't settle for second best. Get a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware. Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star Sand, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today.
Tonight is the night.
We bring the creature to life, Dr. Blitzkriegstein?
Yes, J.P. Gore. Everything is perfect for my next fermented creation.
My doctor, the storm is too far away. We'll never have enough power to isomerize the creature's alpha acid.
Yes, J.P. Gore, we will. For I have in my possession the Tower of Power.
Blickman's new Tower of Power is the evolution of automation. Control hot liquor, sparge, and mash temps like a pro. The Tower of Power is a high-quality gas-fired rim system that works with your current brewing setup. With ultra-precision, the tower can hold your mash to 1/2 of a degree Fahrenheit. Precision and repeatability. The Tower of Power is the answer to automatic, fast ramp times. See more at BlickmanEngineering.com. Bring your next creation to life with the Tower of Power.
Dr. Blickmanstein, with the Tower of Power, you can probably give me an afternoon at the pub to enjoy a pint.
Don't be silly, J.P. Gore. We have beer to brew.
Adventures in Homebrewing have the knowledge and expertise to craft their own gear and original recipes. Some of the things homebrewing.org creates and manufactures in-house are the Brutus brew stands and propane burners, the Serial Killer adjustable 2-roller grain mill with 7-pound hopper, custom stainless steel false bottoms designed to fit kegels, coolers, and mini-sized brew pots. Visit Adventures in Homebrewing at the National Homebrewers Conference this June in their home state of Michigan to see more homebrewing.org creations. The brewers at Adventures in Homebrewing have designed a huge selection of original recipes for extract and all-grain brewing. Adventures in Homebrewing original recipes are tried and tested, proven to be of the best quality. And right now, Adventures in Homebrewing is shipping 24 of their best recipes for free. Visit homebrewing.org for the most current selection. Once you try one of Adventures in Homebrewing recipes, you'll keep coming back for more. And now, it's even easier with free shipping on these kits. And don't forget to use the current coupon code AIH10. Adventures in Homebrewing at homebrewing.org.
Mix me your 100-grain amber recipe, and I'm going to eat it. And then it can ferment in my gut. It totally works. The beer is almost identical to the grain sandwich.
Your colon won't know what hit it.
The home of live beer radio. TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer,
radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session.
First time I saw you, well, you were leaving at a Robert's bar. There was something about the way you carried your drink out to your car. Now I think I understand little things that make you tick. 'Cause I got behind you in the fast lane quick. So be careful what you ask for, 'cause it might just come true. I wanna be locked inside a liquor store with you. Second time I saw you, well, you were screaming naked down the street. Well, I said to myself, I made a mental note, hey, there's a little girl I'd like to meet. I met you under the table, honey, more than a time or two. And I know that I want to get shit-faced with you. So be careful what you ask for, 'cause it might just come true.
There's a time and a place for medication. It might be time for a medicinal vacation. Meds. 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 Yes, we are the junkies and the dealers. And every day the situation just gets realer. It's not your fault, it's what they whisper in your ear. And you can swallow it or drop it on the mirror. Just take your meds. 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 I won't let him go. I just stood there and I watched him go. I just stood there and I watched him go. I just stood there and then it left. I froze. I froze. I froze. I froze. The next time I won't let it go. I just stood there and I watched him go. I just stood there and I watched him go. I just stood there then it left. I froze. 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 It's a tragedy how many people willing to cop out. Accept no responsibility, figure the shit out. They give up, gave up, blame it on some bullshit. Buy those prescription pills, empty out your wallets. We empty out our wallets. We empty out our wallets. I empty out my wallet. We empty out our wallets. Stand up, straighten out your back. When chances are you're not really clapping at your goddamn back. Stand up, straighten out your back. When chances are you're not really clapping at your goddamn back. Meds. Meds.
Meds. 888-401-BEER. This is the session.
It's Brewcaster Challenge time. Let me remind you first that you can go over to beersmith.com right now and get your free 21-day trial of the Beersmith home brewing software. It's the software I use to run my brew day. Nathan, did you use Beersmith to run your brew day?
Every time.
Attaboy. Beersmith.com. It's a free 21-day trial, so you don't have to take our word for it, although our word, I think, counts for something.
One or two of them.
Yeah, one of us will get us
hour,
right.
You know. Yeah.
Our word. As in human beings.
Yeah. You can design great beer using Beersmith home brewing software. You don't have to do the calculations by hand. You can imagine your best beer ever and design it in there. You can customize the program to your own brewing equipment. You name it, it can do it. And it can do it on the go also because there is a iPad app and there's an Android app and there's an iPhone app and there's apps all over the place. Go to beersmith.com right now for your free 21-day trial. All right. Schwartz beers are in everybody's hand. They have been voted on at the break. And it's just about time to reveal. Nate, what did you end up naming your Schwartz beer?
Jagoff Justin Schwartz beer.
That's right. That's right.
Because he's going to jack you off.
Or is
that if he wins or loses?
So it's Jagoff Justin Schwartz beer against Fuck Nate and the Schwartz.
Schwartz beer.
A Schwartz beer. And I made sure I came in earlier today and I chilled the freezer down to 25 degrees, and then we put the beers into there. So they were nice and icy cold when they came out because I'm smart that way. And tell me this, everybody: was it I just want to know first if it was a difficult decision which one to pick, or did you know right away? Anyone want to chime in on that?
Right away.
Everyone knew right away.
In terms of it's an A/B decision, yeah. But I mean, I'd say that
Shit.
I liked one beer, like on a maybe 70%, the other 30%. I mean, they're both good. They're both. There's nothing majorly wrong with, one of the beer I didn't like as much.
Well, you can say you just gave one 30%. I just went over this with my BJCP scores. You gave one 30%, but then called it very good.
Well, no, I mean,
what does that mean?
Well, you and BJCP, I would say it's like in the 30th percentile.
Oh, okay,
that means
so
they might have scored a 28 or something, or a 20,
I see what you're saying.
31. I'm not giving a 16.
Oh, I thought you were like, I like this one 70%, this one 30%.
No, that's
but they're both really good.
That was a non-BJCP statement, so don't try to compare.
All right.
When I tasted them both ice cold when I first got up here, I was like, oh, sweet, this is going to be very difficult. And then when I tasted them warm at the end of the break, like, oh, shit. One's definitely different than the other beer.
Yeah, ice cold, they tasted very similar.
Pretty different
very similar.
as they're warming up.
One had a little bit more of a yeast character than the other, and I was like, oh, well, but for the most part, they were the same, and then it had to warm them up a little bit, and the clear winner is here.
It's so interesting to hear that. Even when they were ice cold, there was a dramatic difference for me.
Okay.
Immediately.
Well, I have a good palate, so.
Well, as long as that dramatic difference was in my favor.
Well, was it more than 70-30, or you says 90-10? What do you think? What do you say?
Well, yeah, I mean, I would say compared against one another, it is more like 90-10. Now, maybe against sort of the, general percentile, maybe it's a 30 percentile beer. Yeah. And by the way, today's 30th percentile is probably 2004's 80th percentile. But, and I don't know whose beer is whose, but,
Yeah.
Well, Nate, are you going to sit there and let them talk to you like that?
Keep going.
I think that's fucked up. All right, well, should we just do it and then we can talk about the beers? Are you going to read them so I don't cheat?
Yeah, sure.
What's going to happen?
All right, here we go. I got the hat, and we got the peanut gallery voting this time as well, so we got a couple extra votes. The first vote, who's going to keep track?
We have beer A and beer B, folks at home.
Someone, Beardy, keep track of it.
We've got a couple new judges in the room, too. We'll let you know about.
All right, the first one is for B.
Okay.
B. The next one is for B.
All right.
That person has no palate.
On to number 3, B.
A lot of B's. How many people are voting? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 votes.
Difference.
So it's not over yet.
4 is A.
All right, there's another one in there.
Rude.
5 is A.
In your face.
So what do we got? 3 B's and 2 A's right now.
Neck and neck.
We have another A.
Wow.
Ooh, it's getting good.
This is the last one.
There is one vote left.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Tiebreaker.
Oh, dear. You have no idea how nervous I am right now.
B.
God damn it!
I think that means Justin brewed A. And with that, 4-3? That's closer than I thought.
That's pretty damn close.
I was closer than my 7.
Good. Real close. This will be a good discussion.
Well won, Nathan Smith.
Oh, Justin got fucked in the Schwartz, everybody.
Wow.
It was a good battle. So we got good stuff to talk about here.
I was definitely afraid there for a second it was going to be unanimous, which I would have joked was okay, but would not have been okay. I would have gone home very sad.
Wouldn't have made you too happy.
Just to clarify, Nate brewed A. Because I don't even know who won. I'm real stupid.
Nate brewed B.
Nate brewed B.
Nate brewed both of them.
It's a twist.
I thought Justin's beer was far superior.
You thought A was far superior.
I
That's
did
why
also.
I voted for it. That's why I voted for it.
Thank you, JP.
Really?
You're welcome.
I also voted
JP's
for
your
you.
guy.
Thank you, Bevo.
That's
Kevin.
the hell out of
Oh, you are so not fired.
Kevin voted A? Kevin, you're A, huh?
Because B,
The dream team right here.
B has this old yeast smell.
Yeah, it
going
does.
on. It stinks.
You guys are tripping.
Smell that and tell me if I'm falling down tripping.
So I would have voted.
You think that smells good to you?
For B.
Yeah.
When
you're
when they were both cold and I thought they were very similar, I thought I was picking up a little sulfur in yours.
Oh, yeah. There's a little bit there.
Which can be okay, right? Like it can be a little bit the style if there's a little sulfur, but
yeah, it's a young lager, so it's going to have a little bit of that, but I'm pretty highly sensitive to it. It's not, I wish that was absent, honestly,
I think it mellowed out as the beer warmed up because
let it off gas a little bit.
When they were kind of the same, very cold, I was like, okay, I might have a chance here because of this sulfur note. But then later, like I said, after the 5 minutes or so in the glass, it really dissipated, and then yours became the winner to me.
Actually, A is really good. And there's only one thing. I'd like it better if it was only one thing.
What?
If you get
if it was mine.
Slight green, yeah. You get a slight green latex paint, like a slight acetaldehyde.
That's what like caramel kind of stuff.
That's a different.
It's not as clean a ferment.
A little different, yeah. It's slightly less clean ferment, but it's a damn good recipe, a damn well brewed wort and beer, Justin.
So I think I got that note right when it came out of the fermenter. You know when I was saying I couldn't really tell if it was good or not? I felt like I liked everything, but there was one, I thought it was an infection or something. There was one small thing.
Slightly off.
But then when it got carbonated and I tasted it today, I didn't pick it up today. I only picked it up when it was flat and a little bit warmer. But I didn't pick it up today. But apparently it's there.
I think that has to be the closest one we've ever done, right?
It is. Went down to one vote.
I don't mind that.
That's pretty cool. You should feel
That's
good.
Pretty good. You should feel good about that.
Thank you, Nate.
You're not very big of a loser.
So I was worried. The other thing I was, when I said in the beginning that there are things that were not planned.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little like mine's a little sweeter and roastier, like chocolatier and roastier than I had planned it to be, based on Jamil's recipe, which called for it to be maybe a little sweeter and roastier than a very traditional Schwarzbier.
It's a good recipe, though.
But my gravity points were about too high. A couple, like literally 2 points high.
Mm-hmm. That's nothing in homebrew world, dude. Don't worry about it.
Well, that's what I felt like in the end. I just felt like maybe had I been spot on, even a couple points, it would have been, a little less sweet. Mm-hmm. I mean, just mathematically. It would have actually been less sweet.
Well, I don't know about math.
But then nothing about it being too roasty or anything?
No,
I think it's within style. Certainly.
Oh, well, that's what I was worried about. So.
Yeah, it works, actually. Based on the recipe discussion we'd had earlier, I thought it would come out way too roasty.
Okay.
It's not. It's actually exactly as tasty as saying, right?
Now, Tasty, you said yours is a pretty big gap between 70-30. So what was yours based on?
Just
Did you pick up that off flavor too?
Sucks. No. The aroma, the quality of the ferment is so much better in one beer.
It is
versus the other, and then that's really all I had to compare them on. So I was overweighted, if you will. Otherwise, I drink it. They both taste great. No, it's just the aroma.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to overweight that. So.
Bevo, what were you saying?
I was just going to comment on the aroma because there's a strong difference in the aroma, in my opinion, as well. Yeah. In your favor, I think Nate's smells a little bit like an outhouse. No
it's sulfury. It's sulfury.
It smells like Trube, like a beer that's been on the Trube for far too long, all the yeast, and it kind of smells like urinal cakey.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, okay.
I also like my aroma better.
I like the aroma better. I'm highly sulfur sensitive, though.
I like the flavor of your beer better than mine, but I like the aroma of my beer better.
Do you remember what roasted malts you use, Justin?
Oh, fuck no. I have no idea.
Because I get
where's Brewing Classic Sauce?
Because I get a roasted kind of green peppery flavor that you get kind of in coffee beers sometimes.
Exactly.
That I think comes from certain roasted grains.
Okay.
That I've gotten in some roasted beers more so than others.
Can you name if you can name which ones you're thinking of? I can tell. I might remember if I put it in it.
Well, I'm not totally sure. Because I think it varies even within the maltster batch to batch.
Yeah.
But I know I can get it from like Thomas Fawcett's Black.
Yeah.
Or Thomas Fawcett.
Don't get racist.
I wouldn't end up knowing the brand anyway. There definitely was some, like super black malt, like a small amount. The only thing I varied from Jamil's recipe was I used an English for like the Crystal... I want to say Crystal 75 or something. Instead of using the German variety, which I couldn't seem to find, even though apparently it was there, I used an English version, which was...
It's probably okay just for the small amount.
But other than that, yeah. So, I wouldn't know the brand anyway to answer your question.
Because I get just a green pepper, kind of coffee-like character.
Okay.
And that's what made me not vote for A.
That was the sway.
Yeah.
Okay. And can that come from other things besides a malt? Like, could that have been an infection or something else like that?
No, I don't think contamination.
Think so. Because we had it actually at Heretic for a little bit.
Okay.
In Shallow Grave.
And it was just,
and so we were messing around with the malts. Okay. And it went away.
Okay.
And so...
Or did it?
I don't know. I actually stopped tasting Shallow Grave.
Then it went away.
It went away.
Right.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Actually, there's one more thing I think that kind of jacks up the aroma in the beer that I brought is I used Cinnamar to color correct because I thought you bitches were going to complain about it being a little too light. Here's the same wort with 001, so you can kind of see how much lighter it is, about 4 or 5 SRM lighter. It's too light. Every time I use Cinnamar, it jacks up the aroma just a little bit.
Jacks up as in
negatively.
Oh, okay.
It adds like a umami, like slight roast kind of thing, and that's definitely there.
Well,
I'll
first
send
of
the
all-
bottle around.
First of all, the color could be. It doesn't have to be black.
No, it doesn't have to be black. That was a little too pale for me, though.
Oh. I wouldn't have voted this. Well, no, I wouldn't have voted this down for because I specifically remember reading that it's okay if it's a little bit brownish and opaque.
Definitely, I kind of leveled the playing field to have them both pretty much the exact same color as what we ended up with. That was probably helpful. But
So I did do one thing in the bottling and transportation of this beer differently than I did the last time. You might remember that last time I got dinged for carbonation and it being kind of flat. And I had carbonated late, like that day, and then I put it in the growler, and then I rode my bike down to here.
I was going to ask, didn't you ride your bike here?
And then I poured it, and by the time it got to you, it was flat. So I did 2 kegs this time, and one of them I over-carbonated on purpose, and the other one I did like a normal carbonation. And then I tasted them today to decide which one to bring. And I kind of had remembered, well, I'm going to pour it into this growler, our stainless steel hot grenade growlers, the Warheads. And then I didn't ride my bike, but I'm still going to bring it down here. Then I'm going to pour it into another glass. Then it's going to potentially sit on the desk for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, right? So I went with the over-carbonated version.
Yep.
And I think it came out.
I think that was a smart decision. I leaned towards that as well, so that it wouldn't lose CO2 by the time we all got here, right?
Yeah. So I just wanted to point it out as I finally learned a lesson that I didn't repeat the same error. I specifically planned my carbonation.
I think Doc talked about this on this show years ago for competition.
Yeah.
Bumping up the carbonation just slightly
Just
higher
a little
than maybe
bit.
what would be appropriate for style, so that by the time it ends up on that best of show table, it may have been open for a little while. You still have enough CO2 to make the beer pop a little bit.
So, Nate, this is the same beer that you just passed around without the Sinmar. So the beer that you entered
with the 001.
With 001 yeast and no Sinmar.
Yeah, I'm passing around 2 different versions, 028 and 001.
Okay.
And it's kind of fun to just compare. You get slight ester, ale-type qualities out of the same wort. And I think it shows really well. It would work. That same wort would work really well for ale yeast.
The competition was 28?
Pardon?
The competition beer was 28?
No, I mean 2 different yeast strains: Edinburgh, WLP 028 and 001.
Yeah. What'd you use for the competition beer?
833 lager. Lager yeast. So I made like 17 gallons of wort and split it up 3 ways.
These are both ale yeast.
Got it.
Yeah, just to kind of send it off in different directions. I could do different hop experiments. Both the 001 has El Dorado in the hop back, and the 028 Edinburgh variation has ADHA 484. It's experimental variety in the hop back. So y'all kind of have a slightly different hop character and yeast character to them.
You think this style could ever do well in competition not using a lager yeast?
I think based on tasting those, absolutely.
I wouldn't have voted for this ale one.
You wouldn't have, no.
Nope, I voted for your
it's
lager.
It's too estery for this kind of competing these beers, and I wouldn't have tried to put it up against that. But as a beer I kind of want to drink a pint of when I get home.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice beer.
I don't think you could do well in this category. With
no, not with an ale
That's
yeast.
what he said too. Yeah.
Not as a Schwartz beer in the category of the Schwartz
not.
beer. No, it's too estery for that, for sure.
Just because what did you fermented at 68? Like, what temperature?
Yeah, pitch at 62, and then it rise to 65 to 66 and kind of cap it there. So it's a totally different yeast profile, but I've been enjoying playing around a lot with beers of this strength that have no crystal malt, kind of like this malt bill that I used for this beer, and really enjoying the results and not kind of leaning on traditional American and English brewing techniques, using more German and Belgian style malt bills and doing ale yeast, and really liking that for standard 5% beer.
Well, I'm glad you had time to experiment with a shitload of other yeast while you were designing a beer to beat me.
Yeah. Well, if I'm going to bust out all the bullshit to make wort, I'm going to make 17 gallons of this stuff and play around with something.
And Justin's shitting himself over one batch, and you're like, "Well, I really feel like this one could have been." So I tried this one too, and I don't know. I fucked around a lot.
I made it with hops that don't currently exist.
Can I vote for these other 2 bottles also?
Yes.
Do you like those, Warren?
Yeah. Nate won 3 times.
Fuck you, Beardy. You're a jerk. All right, I want to introduce you all to somebody while we're still talking about beer. Can Kevin borrow your mic there for a second, Beardy? So, y'all know we've been working on the Hop Grenade, and we've had our general manager chosen. It just hasn't been official.
But you sure you want to introduce him? He didn't vote for your beer.
He did vote for my beer.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Justin told me I had to.
Do we want to hire him? He has no taste.
I did. No, he has the best taste. I was like, listen, you should come and vote on the beer, and you should probably make sure you don't vote wrong. Because
I'm not saying what is right and what is wrong.
but
I'm just saying don't be wrong.
So Kevin is our general manager of the Hop Grenade, ladies and gentlemen. So please welcome Kevin in the studio. Kevin, thanks for coming and voting correctly.
Yeah, no problem.
And tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did we find you?
From Public House, San Francisco, at AT&T Ballpark.
Yeah. So Kevin is a listener. He had been a listener for a while, and we met him at one of our parties here. And then he introduced himself, and we found out that he works at Public House, and that's one of Scott and I's favorite beer bars in San Francisco, to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, it's our favorite baseball team.
It's
one of our favorite beer bars, coincidentally.
But yeah, I mean, literally, with or without the baseball, just an awesome
great beer bar.
Beer bar. So we, got to know Kevin a little bit, and then I suppose somewhat unfortunately for the Public House, but fortunately for us, and I would hope, fortunately for Kevin, we just thought the guy's the right fit. He gets the idea that we're going for, and he understands what we're doing, and he seemed very talented. That remains to be seen.
Well, already he knows how little you pay just from hearing the shows.
I actually brought that up when he was talking to me. I'm like, why the fuck am I going to come work for you? Dude? I don't to pay people.
Yeah, I know. Like, I have a job already, so I won't have to commute, but, sell it, douche.
It's the first thing he said. He was like, so do I have to volunteer for 9 years at the Hop Grenade?
That's about the average, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was like,
after you said yes, what did he do?
Maybe 8. Okay. Yeah.
No, you want him to do real work, not just sit here and spout our opinions, right?
Listen, as far as I'm concerned, and here's how I like to do this anyway, it's Kevin's bar. All complaints go to Kevin. He's running the show down there.
All compliments go to us, but all complaints go to Kevin.
So pretty much just as long as you have to do as little work as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, you got it. Same business model. What am I, stupid? I'm gonna start something where I have to work.
What a terrible idea.
Well, and I mean, Kevin, you started the beer program basically at that bar, didn't you? I mean, what did it look like for you?
That's not true.
No?
Greg Stone, he started it, and I've just been helping him along the way keep it going, keep it growing. So just building relationships with breweries and vendors and distributors and whatnot, and just Greg's more of a consultant there. He works a few days a week. I mean, the guy's he's a smart man, and he knows his stuff, and so I've learned a lot from him. But I'm kind of the guy on the ground making executing everything essentially.
Right. Which is really what we needed, is the guy on the ground doing the heavy lifting. So that's what.
And again, yeah, and I've learned a lot from him and through him, and met a lot of people from that. So it's been great, and I'm happy to continue it.
Yeah. Well, we're happy that Public House did such a great job getting you ready for us. So now you are. I'm turning myself
I've been a professional
off.
broadcaster for over 10 years.
Having my mute button over here. So we're excited to have you on board. Now, tell us why you voted for beer A, aside from it being that your job is at stake.
Yeah, well, so I like the aroma in that one. I like the flavor up front. I thought the B was a little too carbonated, actually, for my taste.
I overdid it.
Which, when you said that, I was like, okay, I get it.
Rookie
and then
mistake.
I tasted the aftertaste though on A there was something there that I was like, this must be Justin's. I figured I should go for it.
Nice. I like your strategy here.
It's my house flavor, It's a certain tang.
You got to help out the home team. My house flavor is off.
That is my house flavor.
I did that same thing, but smelling the aroma of B, and I feel like I'm just drilling Nate in the Schwartz now. But,
I like it, yeah.
But I smell B, I'm like, this has to be Justin's, because it smells like he left it on the yeast for far too long.
I did leave it on the yeast until I kegged it. I screwed that up.
Oh, wow.
So the whole time I lagered it, even after I crashed, I should have dropped the yeast at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know why it slipped my mind. When I went to keg, I went, oh shit, I forgot to drop the yeast plug. It's been sitting there, but it was the
maybe
least.
JP's picking up something cool. I never dropped it. I just kept it at 50 the whole time.
You never crashed until you kegged it, and then
until I kegged it.
And then how long did you keg it and lager it at that point?
A week.
How long?
Just a week. Oh,
yeah. So how long was it on the yeast?
The whole time.
But how long was that? How long was
5 weeks?
5 weeks.
4.5 weeks. Something like that.
I'm amazed. My palate is amazing, and you guys are all noobs. Kevin and I are going to start our own fucking BGCP training program.
Well, I mean, mine sat on there the whole time too, but I crashed it.
It depends on which one you are more sensitive to, acetaldehyde or yeast on the beer too long.
Both, I would think. I didn't get any acetaldehyde. I didn't get any anal aldehyde off of that.
Yeah, that's a good category over on AdamandEve.com.
Anal aldehyde? That's beer dork anal porn. Anal aldehyde.
Anal aldehyde, yeah. I was more worried, though. I mean, yes, I was worried that I didn't drop my yeast when I figured that, but I was more concerned. You remember a couple weeks ago when we were talking about that I crashed it, that I had sucked in O2. I was worried about it coming out like a piece of cardboard.
It doesn't seem all oxidized.
Which it didn't.
Maybe it will be in 3 weeks.
It will be soon,
now.
I think, and I still won't make that mistake again. Now, remember, if I'm going to crash it, just go ahead and put it in kegs then. I don't need to crash it in my, what the hell it's called? Conical.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or if I do, I need to put a blanket of CO2 on there.
You think that's too long, though, JP? I think you could leave a beer on the yeast for 3-4 weeks.
Well,
right?
yeah, you can. I was kind of being facetious because I don't know. That's what I picked up out of the beer. I don't know if it's a result of that or not, but that was my interpretation. Was immediately when I smelled it smells like it had too much contact with the yeast.
Right.
But maybe it's a combination of you adding the Sinmar, because you said it does kind of tend to decrease the aroma in it.
Yeah, I think it does.
Mine was on the yeast for 6 weeks. I just looked at the calendar. I mean, from the time I pitched until when I finally kegged it, it was on for 6 weeks.
Yeah, mine's on for 5 then. So we brewed on the same day.
I'd like to check
out. I kegged
this.
mine the week before.
Yeah, I'd like to try the beer without the Sinmar edition. The same yeast.
Right, yeah, same yeast.
That'd
I didn't
be
do that.
interesting.
Yeah, I did those other two, but not 833.
Well, you're still learning.
Exactly. There's always a lifetime of learning.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, you are the winner of the losers, Nate.
I know. Well, you got to win somewhere. Even the blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Right.
Even the losers get lucky sometime.
You go into the
I'm done now, right?
No, because there's another loser bracket, I guess.
We're going to keep you spending money on beer.
Keep going.
I mean, we're still vying for second place, essentially, right? Or does second place go to the loser of the winners?
All right, who's
bracket?
the other losers bracket?
I think there could be a winner of the
It's
winner.
Moscow, so it's in Moscow.
Oh, wait, Moscow lost.
Moscow lost.
Oh, so Doc. Because Doc beat Moscow.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Doc and you are in the loser bracket.
Yeah, here we go.
No,
Wait, no, you guys were the winner bracket.
Yeah, they're the winner bracket.
I won and then lost.
Yeah.
And Nate lost and then won.
Oh, and that's it then.
It's Jamel and somebody.
Jamel
have to
and
go.
John have to go again.
And then the winner of that goes against Nate.
That's right, because they were in the loser bracket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. So you still
Thank you, Warren.
you still have one more.
Warren pays attention.
I know. I'm lost.
I just got here.
His brain isn't heavily taxed.
Exactly. Yet. All right. Well, Nate, congratulations. Anything else
Thanks,
to learn
Justin.
from this experience? Anybody? I think we're good. All right. Great. Jerk.
Give me more of your beer. I'll drink it.
Brewcaster
Got a growler down there.
Hey! Unpredictable.
It's fun.
You're
All right.
fun.
Are you ready to learn the next bracket in the Brewcaster Challenge?
Yes.
It's the other winners bracket, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's the winners bracket. So the winner
Who's in that again? Because I forget.
of the winner of this one,
Right.
which I will announce now, will compete against Doc, right?
Yes.
Ask Warren. I don't know, man.
Yeah, we'll compete against Doc.
Doc's an advancing winners bracket.
Yep.
All right. So this bracket is Tasty versus JP.
And that's the what bracket?
It's the winners bracket.
And it's me. I'm in this.
You are in it.
In the what?
You heard me.
All right.
I'm not going to be a dick about it.
All right, so we've already won one.
I just want to make sure that, you know.
I see.
Good luck, Jason.
Thanks.
And the beer
Thanks.
that you two...
oh, you guys are going to love
well,
this.
before we do that, let me tell you this. We got a brand new sponsor of the Brewcaster Challenge, and we're excited to have them on board with us. We thought, the Brewcaster Challenge is a great place to get, some of our ingredient suppliers involved.
Yeah, it's so important. It's pivotal. I mean, really, it's...
Yeah.
You need ingredients.
So we would like to welcome BSG to the show. They're not actually here to speak for themselves, but we'd like to welcome them as a sponsor of this round of the Brewcaster Challenge. They are covering. I don't know why they didn't want to sponsor the losers bracket, but they opted to sponsor the winners bracket between Tasty and JP. BSG, they're our proud new ingredient sponsor of the Brewcaster Challenge. Of course, BSG provides homebrewers and craft brewers alike with high quality malts direct from the source. All those European malts that you hear about?
Yeah.
That's BSG. Like, they're the guys doing it. So Rar, Wireman, Simpsons, that's the stuff that comes from BSG. So you might not even know that you have them to thank, but now that you heard those names, you've got them to thank. So you can't make a European-style lager without the correct European malts, and BSG makes sure that your local homebrew supply shop has access to those malts. It's the same malt that your favorite brewery uses in their beers too, because BSG supplies not just homebrew shops, obviously, but professionals as well. So check out bsghandcraft.com and see what BSG has to offer you. And both JP and Tasty will be using BSG ingredients as they brew a Rausch beer.
Yes. Tasty looks like he's going to puke.
I make like
what is a Rausch beer?
Smoke beer. I like Rausch beer. I'm down.
Tasty and Bebo have great.
It's a really
looks on
broad
their
category.
faces.
You just have to add smoke malt to anything.
Yeah.
It could be any beer, any base style.
You have your choice of smoked malt, though. I would recommend for this judge's vote that you steer away from peat malt.
I second that.
No
very
peat
strong.
and malt.
Environment smoked malt.
Yeah, Environment smoked malt is very
That's awesome.
There you go.
What was,
Yeah, Tasty was thrilled.
I have a real
Just to go to all
question.
that trouble to go ahead, people.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
I'm going to
interrupt
say
you.
something about this competition at some point. But it'll be when you're
Hey,
done.
man, I can make a goddamn Schwartz beer. You can make a freaking smoke malt beer.
We had a couple years ago, I think we were still in the garage, we had a gentleman on who specifically did smoking. Like, he smoked meats and stuff, but he had this liquid smoke stuff. Would that be something you would add into this beer?
Yes. Tasty, go ahead and do that.
Wait.
It's a real question. I really don't know.
Make a Mertz and add liquid smoke, please, Tasty.
I believe it's been done on a homebrew level, adding something like a liquid smoky, yes.
And that would not be ideal.
It would probably not be ideal.
Good, because it sounds foul.
Yeah.
So, wait. Could they make a pale ale and just be high the whole time? Is that a smoke beer?
Yeah.
Why not?
Not a beer while you smoke.
I smoked while I brewed it.
Damn it. What if you put beer in the bong and take a load through the beer?
That's smoked beer.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen the awards for winning in this competition.
Right.
But I'm instead of sacrificing, 10 gallons of finished beer to make it screwed up with smoke.
Yeah.
Why don't I just lose intentionally? And
Are you
I'll
going to forfeit?
I'll make it like an IPA or something. And whoa. I just forgot to put the smoke in.
You can't forfeit.
Are you going to forfeit right now?
I'm going to quit.
Am I the winner right now?
No.
Do I declare myself
I have to brew a beer.
Oh, that's too bad.
And you have to brew a Rausch beer, Tasty.
All right.
Can you, listen, someone will drink it.
I can't make 5 gallons of beer. I don't have equipment for it. I have to make 10.
You can make 10 and give it away.
I'm going to get it right down the drain.
Who isn't going to want your beer? Come on.
I'm going to give it to the county septic tank.
Take it to Michigan.
They have to have a draft
A good festival coming up or something.
Take it to Michigan.
Take it to Michigan.
Can he just make Janet's Brown and add a little bit of smoke malt and
He can do whatever he
smoked
wants.
brown ale, right?
He could.
Yeah.
Well, I assume we're going to be judged against the style guideline, the Rausch beer, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't say it, it doesn't describe an American brown ale.
Well,
right.
What were you talking about then, Warren? That you
Yeah,
can
what is
do
he
any
talking
base
about?
I was just
beer?
saying in the broadest sense,
Yeah.
smoke beer could be any base style.
It's more like in the specialty beer
like you could make a
category,
smoked Meritzen, you can make a smoked Weizbier. You
Right,
can make
but we're doing specifically Rausch beer.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be a specialty beer.
Yeah.
But, that'd be...
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll figure it out, Tasty. Don't worry. You're gonna be fine.
I'll figure it.
I have faith.
It'll taste like smoked fish.
Nice. I'll drink it all, and I'll have some locks
Well,
to go.
okay, all right, fine.
So here's what I'd like to see, guys.
I can't wait.
I'd like your recipes ready for next show. So that's a week from today.
Okay.
And you got a good week to get your recipes ready.
But I have a question.
Yes.
Jamil doesn't make a smoke beer, so how am I supposed to compete?
I don't know.
Oh, burn on everybody. Sorry.
I don't get it. What?
Yeah, just burn Tasty. He's your competitor now.
But I'd
not
rather
everybody.
just burn everybody.
All right.
I'm not in the competition.
Not me.
I'll burn
Nope.
you separately, Warren. Don't worry.
Thank you.
With a cigarette.
Yeah. Just like your dad used to do.
As long as it's under my shirt.
It's horrible.
All right, so Rausch beer it is. Don't worry, Tasty. We'll get this all out of our system, and then when we restart the Brewcaster challenge, wait till you see. You won't be complaining when you see what Jamil has to do for his next round.
Oh yeah, dude.
You've got it easy.
We're getting off really lucky,
I can
dude.
feel my opinion. I can see his doesn't seem to help. It's what I feel. It weighs a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I have a cookie you can eat that'll take that right off.
Casey, don't your minions love smoke beer? I mean, when I think of a fan of smoke beer, I think of a 20-something chick, right? They must love smoke beer, do they not?
Negatory.
No?
I don't understand.
I've never seen that pattern.
I don't understand.
I figured like a 50-year-old German dude.
No, they like saisons and
interesting
and strong beer.
Oh, huh.
Maybe the guy that works at Jones's Barbecue.
All right, well, there goes my... All right, well, you're screwed.
All right. It's exciting.
I'm stoked on it, dude.
Are you the only one in the room that likes Roush beer?
No, I'm stoked on his reaction.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some way to take the smoke out of it. I can make it, and then when we
after the fact,
we'll have an like we can smoke.
Well,
I'll put carbon in there.
Tasty. Tasty.
Just
blend.
Blend.
Think about.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
You could make
your fruit beer technique, the old school way.
Well, maybe I'll do like a tincture of smoke.
Yeah,
2 drops, just 2 bottles,
and I'll tincture enough for our judging.
Yeah.
And the rest will be like a sports beer.
Now you're thinking.
Try doing a partial mash of smoke malt.
Bullshit.
Smoke.
I don't think I'm even going to.
The next round
I might ferment it in a beaker. Yeah, ferment it
in a beaker. I'm actually just making a starter.
It'll be like I'm going to make a starter of
make the starter
of smoke
beer.
Smoke. No, I got to be able to.
So let me get something straight.
It could be so little. I don't have to worry about it.
A 2-liter.
It doesn't even have to convert.
The spirit of this competition has just gotten raped.
Have you enjoyed a good smoke beer, Tasty? Like a Schlenkerla, something like that. You don't think those?
I never go for one of those.
Right.
Now you know why this style was chosen.
Well, that's right. I think I might be able to save the batch. I mean, not merely make a
Why don't you listen? Here's the way to think of it: make a great Roush beer. Like change our mind about Roush beer.
I want to make like a quart of it.
That's fine. I don't care how much you make.
See, but the challenge that's the point you're missing. Dude wants to make a great one, but just the tiniest amount. You're going to ferment in a warhead.
Maybe like a test tube baby.
Make a
good looking baby.
Make a Mr. Beer kit of it and like start a blog and blog it the whole thing and be like fuckingbreweynetwork.blogspot or some shit, and then you can talk shit on it the whole time.
Right.
It's a great idea.
They're all good ideas.
Yeah, they're awesome.
All right. That's your next Brewcaster challenge. We'll hear from JP and Tasty next week about their recipes. We're going to take a real quick break right now. When we come back, we've got a lot of things to do. So we've got our Logic Homebrewer of the Week, who's calling in from where? Moscow?
Israel.
From Israel. So that'll be fun to do. Plus, we got beer news. So hang in there. It's The Session. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Brewcasters. The Brewcasters on the Brewing Network.
Hey brewers, it's planting season. Have you ever dreamt of walking through your own hop garden? Well, look no further than Woodburn, Oregon, and the Crosby Family Hop Farm. Blake Crosby and his family have been passionately growing hops for 5 generations. And right now, they're taking orders for 2014 rhizomes for all retail and wholesale customers. The Crosbys know how to grow hops and are here to help you establish your family's very own successful hop garden. In fact, when you plant a hop rhizome from the Crosbys, you're using the same plant your favorite professional brewer bought his hops from. Friendly professional service, fast shipment, and quality hops at competitive prices. The Crosby family brings all of this to you. Call 503-982-5166 or visit bcrosbyhops.com and let Blake Crosby and the Crosby Hop Farm help make your hop garden a reality. bcrosbyhops.com. Hops from the Crosby family farm to yours.
What'd you get? More brewing ingredients?
Yep.
You know what I love about Brewmaster's Warehouse? The $6.99 shipping.
Well, yeah, but...
the in-store classes for beginning brewers.
Yeah, that's cool, but...
the Brew Builder. Creating and saving your recipes online is awesome!
No, I mean, yes, but...
The cheese-making supplies.
No.
Oh, the wine-making supplies. Oh, the distilling equipment and liquor flavorings.
All that stuff is awesome, yes, but what I really love is that the guy who runs it is totally hot. And that Brew Builder software is awesome.
Oh yeah! Brewmaster's Warehouse brings you flat rate shipping on great equipment and ingredients to make beer, wine, cheese, and spirits at brewmasterswarehouse.com. And if you're in Georgia, stop by Brewmaster's Warehouse Monday through Saturday from 10 to 6. Visit brewmasterswarehouse.com today because it's totally hot.
Oh yeah!
Hey everyone, it's the Fast Rack guys. So I hope everyone has heard about the free tickets we're giving away to the National Homebrew Conference in Grand Rapids this year.
Our sponsorship of the event landed us these free tickets we're giving away for the top contenders of the Fast Rack Speed Challenge.
We've been setting up these sweet mini Speed Challenge events with help from AHA homebrew clubs and Fast Rack retailers all over Canada and the U.S.
About 60 competitions have been hosted, and the video submissions, they've been unreal.
Best of all, the times keep getting faster, and the events have been a ton of fun.
We'll be announcing the winners live on air on May 12th during the Brewing Network podcast.
Get your video submission in today to be entered to win.
All entry details can be found at thefastrack.ca. That's thefastrack.ca, as in Charlie Alpha. Cheers for fast racking beers.
When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for any beer style. I want a Cicerone. The Cicerone certification program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious, Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Downtown Joe's, where everyone is welcome, especially if you like drinking and tasting beer. Head brewer Colin Kaminsky's favorite beers are the Tantric IPA and the Double Secret Probation IPA. But you'll have loads of others to choose from when you redeem your exclusive Brewing Network savings. Downtown Joe's is the best brewery destination and the hottest night spot in Napa. Colin invites all homebrewers and fans of craft beer to stop by and enjoy the great food and beer. Whether you're in the mood for riverside dining, live music, or just hanging out at the bar to meet a person of the opposite sex or a person of the same sex, Downtown Joe's has exactly what you're looking for. And now just mention the Brewing Network to receive $1 off your beer at Downtown Joe's. That's right, take $1 off every one of their great selection of craft beers, including the Lazy Summer Wheat, Golden Thistle Porter, and the Triple Dog Dare You. Come to Downtown Joe's and enjoy the laid-back atmosphere of Napa's best brew pub. Visit downtownjoes.com right now for current beers, the live music schedule, or to drool over their delicious menu items. Downtown Joe's, your neighborhood brew pub where everyone is welcome.
Hi, I'm Jason Harris, the proud owner here at Keystone Homebrew Supply. We're thrilled to be entering our 20th year of supplying this great industry, and to show you, the Brewing Network Army, how much we appreciate your support, we're offering you 10% off your first order on our website, KeystoneHomebrew.com. Just use coupon code BNARMY at checkout, and I'll get your order out the same day. My goal at Keystone Homebrew Supply has always been to have a complete supply of everything a brewer could want. When you place your order online or when you come into our store, it's our goal to have everything on your list and more. One aspect of KeystoneHomebrew.com that we're really excited about is the ability to fulfill customers' exact grain bills. Do you hate to wait? Keystone Homebrew Supply can get your precious yeast and hops to you within just one day if you live between Connecticut and Virginia, and within 2 days east of the Mississippi. KeystoneHomebrew.com. Coupon code BNARMY. I'm Jason Harris, and I approve this message.
Wait till you can pour it out of your own kegerator.
Yeah. I mean, your friends will look at you with awe.
And it's just hot.
It is?
It's so super hot.
The home of live beer radio.
TheBrewingNetwork.com.
Because like beer,
radio shouldn't suck. You're listening to The Session.
You're listening to the Brewing Network. Because like beer,
radio shouldn't suck.
All right, welcome back to the program where there are winners and there are losers. And there are other losers below the losers. That's what we do here.
That is true. We categorize losers.
It is
You're all winners.
In the end, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What matters is that if I could get my beer to Grand Rapids, I would bring my Schwartz-Bier for that. I'm okay with it enough to share with the general homebrewing public.
Yeah, I would.
I just don't think I can get it there. How the hell do you get beer to Grand Rapids?
You got to drive it yourself, maybe.
Yep.
That'd probably be about it.
That would be rough.
Or bus.
Might be cheaper to drive there.
It is.
Yeah. I'll drive it.
Yeah.
It
You'll
takes
have to sit next to me. I'll make fun of you for brewing the beer that lost the whole way. But but I'll drive.
All right. Sounds good. All right. It's time for our Logic Homebrewer of the Week. And this week we've got a great story coming out of Israel from Levi. Levi, are you with us?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Thanks for being on the program, man.
My pleasure, man.
So how long you been... Go ahead. Sorry.
Congratulations to Nate on his win.
Oh, yeah. All right. I love this guy. Thanks, Levi. Rule.
I'm sorry, Levi. We're having a connection problem. It must be the internet in Israel. Yeah.
That's not hard to believe.
How long you been living out there?
I've been here now 5 years straight, but in the past I've lived, a year here, a year there.
Okay. Before were you born in the U.S. or what?
I was born and raised in Long Beach, California.
Okay. Why'd you move to Israel? What brought you there?
This past move, I was here to complete medical school.
Oh, excellent. Okay. Be a doctor.
Yeah, so I graduated last year, and I'm in the middle of my internship.
Got it. How long you been homebrewing?
I've been brewing about 7 years. I got into brewing when I figured that I was going to be moving out here, because I knew that the beer choices at the time were not going to be plentiful. So I figured if I wanted to drink good beer, I'm going to have to do it myself.
That's probably a solid move.
That's a great reason to start homebrewing. Is there good craft beer there at all?
Now there's a small craft, or as they call it here, boutique brewing scene happening.
Okay.
And there are beers to drink. It is expensive. It's one of the most expensive places to buy a beer in the world. I think somebody said the top 10, one of the top 10.
Wow. So how much is it?
It's definitely not affordable for me.
Give us the American dollar equivalent of a pint there. What is expensive?
Well, if you were going to get, let's say, a 330 milliliter bottle, which is, I think it's 12 ounce, that would go for $4.
$4.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No.
I mean, maybe if you're in med school, that's everything.
That's reasonable.
Everything's as bad when you're in med school.
Maybe it's just a country full of penny pinchers.
Yeah. I take it you're Jewish.
400 pennies.
Levi in Israel.
Yeah.
You don't say.
And who's? Well, I know it's 50 cents a glass here. It's very expensive. I thought I'd brew my own instead.
Well, it's weird. This is one of the few times, or maybe only time, I've ever really heard the I did it in order to save money. I mean, the sentiment on this show has always been the opposite. Like, it's an expensive hobby. Don't think you're going to save money if you want beer on at your house, you homebrew.
Which is true in the U.S., but we've heard quite a bit that isn't true, for example, in Australia, where beer is even more expensive than Levi has just expressed, that, so that you can still save money by homebrewing in places like Australia, too. But I do think that on the whole, in a lot of places, it's not cheaper.
It's cheaper if you do it extract. But at that moment that comes true is when you're doing all grain and you factor in the cost of your equipment.
Well, unless you do brew in the bag.
Yeah. Unless you do brew in a bag or something like that. But generally speaking, the brewing with the ingredients, it is cheaper. Yeah.
Okay.
But just don't factor in your $2,000 homebrew system or any of that other crap.
Right.
Yeah. Because then you'll go insane.
So that's what I wanted to address. Is that it's very hard to get homebrewing equipment here.
Okay.
So I went through all the steel yards, all the junk yards, and got old equipment and had it fabricated. I tried to do most of it myself. So I kind of built my system on penny pinching, if you will.
Okay.
I don't know. So go ahead.
I was going to say, if I'm studying to be a doctor, I don't know if I'm trying to start learning how to weld also and digging through scrapyards in Israel. My hands are my life at that point.
Right.
I'll pay someone.
Yeah, true.
They're braver than me.
The welding I got done by friends. You give them a couple of beers and they'll weld for you.
Good move.
So you're talking about like the equipment that's difficult to find is like the brew stand and burners and things like that.
Yeah, so basically what I've been brewing on for the past couple of years is a 3 keg converted system, single tiered. Actually, what I can't find here, I when I fly back to the States, I pick up and then I just put it in my suitcase.
Got it.
And come back. Stuff like corny kegs, which are hard to find. I actually had to fly those in. One of my favorite stories is that I brought 3 corny kegs, the gas tank and the regulator in on the suitcase, and I wrapped it in a traditional prayer shawl that the Jews wear to pray.
Yeah.
And put it through the American security system, and I'm sure everybody got a kick out of that. These huge tanks and this regulator.
Right. Yeah, brewing equipment doesn't look like the safest thing on earth to a TSA agent.
Well, especially when it's El Al, the Israeli airline. They do an entirely different form of interrogation, not like American TSA at all. So did you get pulled out of line by Mossad or something?
No, I didn't get pulled out. I did get a note in the suitcase saying that it was inspected and everything was taken a look at.
That's easy.
So,
are you in what city are you in?
I'm located in Modi'in. It's like halfway between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. I actually work now in a hospital in Tel Aviv, and I also work for a startup company in Jerusalem. So it's a perfect place for me to jump between the two.
Yeah, and Israel's super small. So, I mean, you're talking about, what, like half-hour drives in between these places? Hour?
Yeah. One half hour between Tel Aviv and then to Jerusalem is another 20 minutes or something like that.
Are there physical homebrew shops in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or anywhere?
There are, and there's because of the craft beer scene, there are some wholesalers that I'm getting to know now. There's a couple in Tel Aviv. There's a guy right outside of Jerusalem that sells in some places in the north and the south, but not a lot of option. But I'm glad that there's something, because when I started, I was in school in the north, and there was absolutely nothing. So when I started, I actually went to the local craft brewery to buy my grain and my hops, and I just got it. I had to go in there and mill it myself in the brewery, and I was, so stoked to get it at wholesale prices or at least brewery prices, which was very happy. And I learned a lot from the breweries themselves.
Okay. So you don't have as much difficulty getting ingredients anymore. What about yeast? As a doctor, you can do it yourself, right?
I do it myself. Yeah, I bake the yeast and I grow them up myself. There's a couple of homebrewers in my city, and we do yeast sharing, which is great. We do washing and cleaning, and selecting, and I do plates and try to select for the biggest colonies. And that's my work. I do a lot of drug development and cell culture, so I'm pretty well equipped to do that.
Any new drugs coming out that we should know about? Or, I don't know, I'm just asking.
Look, Vaxapronol. It's going to be the new thing.
Yeah, you got any Dilaudid just laying around? I don't know. Whatever. I'll trade. I got some brewing equipment in my garage. Get it over there.
Sounds fair.
Have you tried to grow any? Have you tried to grow any wild cultures?
So, I haven't tried to grow any wild cultures. I did have some infected batches that I took to the lab to streak, but they haven't yielded any brews yet. But they're in the entire country. There's really one sour guru. There's a guy who lives not so far from me, and we do Solera barrel projects, and he does a lot of interesting things. I don't know if he's done a completely spontaneous fermentation, but he does a lot of alternative yeast strain.
Excellent. Well, it sounds like you're making your way over there. And how often do you brew?
I brew about 2 2 to 3 times a month, but now it's picking up to be at least once a week.
Wow, you're a busy guy. You're doing the rounds at a hospital. You work for a startup, and you're brewing once a week.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
It's kind of crazy. Do you ever sleep?
That's why I'm in the drug business.
I was gonna say, what kind of drugs are keeping you awake all the time?
The good ones.
Yeah,
a lot of
those are the good ones.
Are you going to stay in Israel after you finish school? I know you said you graduated, but you're still doing your...
It looks right now, I got young kids, and I would like them to finish their primary school in the same school.
Okay.
So for the time being, we're here.
Excellent.
And we're enjoying it. It's a beautiful place to raise kids.
And did you say that you're part of a homebrew club? Do you have a club there, or just people that you brew with?
It's not a club in the sense of membership fees or anything, but we get together like once every couple of months to taste each other's beers, give critiques. We've done like proactive kits where we tasted off flavors. We definitely do beer trading, which is wonderful for me, because if I'm running out and I need, then I could go ahead and get some beers until the next batch is ready.
Yeah. Well, you're in the right profession, too. You can go, hey, remember that time I looked at that rash for you? I'm running out of beer over here.
Yeah. This is a good story. I think it's good to see, hear about kind of an old technique coming to a relatively new city like a Jerusalem or something like that. I think it's very beautiful.
A new city?
Well, they don't have a lot of culture yet, so he's trying to bring all that back, and it's a wonderful thing. I appreciate it.
They just finished putting on the roofs on all the buildings.
Yeah. They got it's a whole new thing, man. Yeah.
You have any?
He's right. The beer culture in Israel has just been lagers, fizzy yellow beers. This whole craft thing is really new, and to get the public's opinion to change, it would be like being a craft brewer in the late 70s, early 80s.
So you're not making money yet.
Is there another alcohol of choice? Is wine? What's popular?
Manischewitz.
Yeah, right. They do. There are a million boutique, if you will, wineries, and the restrictions on them are very, very low because it's considered sacramental. And so there's a million of them, and there's some really great wines. But I think the alcohol of choice is like just shitty vodka.
Oh, right. I was in college once,
really
too.
Bad.
Okay.
So the whole state of Israel is...
It's like a college.
It's like a college
campus. It's like a frat house. Here's some shitty vodka.
There's a lot of boutique winery, but let's just pound this vodka right now.
Right.
Well, I mean, given that there's no real, homebrew club culture, there are no competitions in Israel, are there?
There are a few competitions. I believe Long Shot has come out here, but it doesn't happen at the same time every year. So what happens is, you just submit whatever beer you have, and you're not brewing for the competition, which makes it really difficult. Because you don't know what you're. So
look at
there are competitions.
Look at Jim the Catholic reaching out to the Jews, bringing Long Shot to Jerusalem.
You too can be elevated. Elevate yourself by entering my competition.
It's a real long shot.
Yeah. But so are you guys. So it's all right.
Hey, Levi, I think you have a charge here, which is organize like a Palestinian-Israeli brew-off. Maybe that can solve some problems,
I think that would be a great idea. Yeah. I definitely know that there's a brewery called Teba in the territories, and you can get it in Tel Aviv. I know that you can get it. I haven't had it yet, but from what I understand, it's really good. And if we could get a hold of some homebrewers, we can definitely do something.
Maybe we'll get our friend Mazen Hajar of 961 Beer in Lebanon. We'll get him to maybe MC the thing or something.
That'll be great.
You get his beer out there. You get the 961.
I haven't seen it, but if I see it, I'll let you know.
I don't think I'll MC it. I think I'll ref it.
Yeah. Moscow, in your hypothetical scenario, if Nathan and I were in this homebrew competition, and I am Palestine and he is Israel, and I lost by 1 vote, you think that's going to go over very well? The shit would hit the fan.
Bombs away.
There might be some rock throwing.
Because it hasn't already.
Right.
Launch.
Yeah. I'm going to dive into this table with missiles start showing up.
Yeah.
This whole thing is outrageous.
Homebrew, the new great equalizer.
Yeah, see? John Kerry had it all wrong.
Yeah.
It's not talking, it's drinking.
It's drinking homebrew. Brewing.
I agree. I mean, brewing is culture. With culture, you get to understand everybody's sides and, be able to talk about it over some delicious, libations. So that would be any problem.
Amen.
All right, Levi. Well, thanks for taking the time to be on the show with us. What time is it out there for you right now? You don't sleep anyway.
He's probably brewing.
It's November 2012 for me.
Well, Passover just ended last night, so we haven't had any beer or bread in 7 days. So I haven't brewed in 7 days. So I'm going to probably dust out, all my equipment and from the shed and maybe, get something going on.
Attaboy. All right, Levi, you are our home brewer of the week. Thanks very much for being on the show.
No problem. Have a great one, guys.
Cheers, man.
Shalom, baby. Good to talk to you. All right, that was brought to you by EcologicCleansers.com. Go to EcologicCleansers.com and check out their Straight A and One Step. They are committed to helping homebrewers because they are homebrewers, the Ecologic guys. And, why would you want mainstream ordinary beer? You don't, so don't settle for mainstream ordinary cleansers. EcologicCleansers.com.
That's right. Great.
Awesome.
Couple more things left to do. A little bit of beer news, right?
Yes. It's the Brewing Network's Beer News, brought to you by homebrewstuff.com.
Well, you know how they're doing news nowadays. Anybody who surfs the internet knows that it's all list form. It's all list.
Everything's the top 15 whatever.
Yeah, the 8 reasons why your wife is about to leave you.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's all in list form.
That's the only thing people have attention span for.
No, that's
Warren's about to be set free.
I've been waiting so long.
The dumbing down of everything. Well, so I'm going to dumb it down for you guys. So here are 8 beers that you should stop drinking immediately. Now, this is, of course, according to Banoosh.com, whoever the Christ they are.
Who is that?
Oh, it's a blog, isn't it?
Badoosh?
Yeah, the Badoosh guys say that the first beer you should stop drinking if their freaking site would load here. Well, now, the reason that they're doing it, or they're saying this, is that they're very concerned about GMO ingredients that are going into
that's their
these
focus.
beers.
Okay.
Yeah, so now the number one beer you should stop drinking is Newcastle Brown Ale. Now, they say that Newcastle has been found to contain caramel coloring. Class 3 and 4 caramel coloring is made from ammonia, which is classified as a carcinogen. The one and only beer, they say, with cancer-causing qualities. Newcastle Brown Ale.
False.
I've seen this list, and I'm just going to say I'm probably going to die soon.
Yeah, we all are. We all have cancer.
Can I just, without us going into a whole thing, just make the statement that this just happened with, Subway bread, right? So while ammonia might be a carcinogen in certain amounts, it's not allowed in food products above those amounts. And it's the same with whatever thing, there's some ingredient in the Subway bread that came out recently.
Dough conditioner or something.
And it's, used to make plastic. It's a plastic. But in the amount that it's used in bread, it's such a minute... Anyhow, I'm just saying that it's a very blanket statement to say that ammonia is a cancer-causing agent. You should... I know that I'm preaching to the choir, but I'm just pointing it out. You have to add then the qualifier. It's a cancer-causing agent over X parts per million.
Right.
Anyway, carry on.
It's like I don't want to drink the tap water because there's chlorine in it. Yep, but it's not all chlorine.
Right.
You understand the little bit that's in there is good?
How about this? Don't drink chlorine.
Yeah. Do not chug a bottle of bleach.
Go on.
The second beer is Budweiser. Budweiser contains genetically modified corn. In 2007, Greenpeace discovered experimental GMO rice in AB beer.
Greenpeace.
How dare they?
Greenpeace. Well, they're looking out for you, Mr. Rice Eater. Yeah. The third beer is Corona Extra. Not that any of us are drinking these anyway, but...
I actually love this list so far.
We're good.
I don't know what I'm complaining about.
Yeah.
My cellar's so intact.
Number 4 is Corona. They have GMO corn syrup and polyphenol glycol. That is controversial and is said to be harmful to your health. Very non-specific.
Yeah. It makes you sit on the couch and drink beer.
Yeah. Anyway, 4 Miller Lite, 5 Michelob Ultra, 6 Guinness, 7 Coors Light, and 8, unfortunately, JP, is PBR.
Oh.
That's all right.
How dare they?
PBR contains GMO corn syrup.
Have you seen the rebuttal to that article? So that article has been around for like a year.
Oh, has it?
And this lady, Maureen Ogle, has written a scathing rebuttal to this, basically calling every single thing that chick wrote complete bullshit. And she actually went through and interviewed people like Mitch Steele and other people that I've never heard of, like Todd Parker. But basically people in the industry going, that's entirely bullshit. I've never heard of MSG in beer before. That's entirely insane. And this chick has no idea what she's talking about.
Okay.
So check that out. MaureenOgle.com. Ogle.
She has a new book out, too, I think.
Yeah, something about meat or something. But anyway, she's like a beer historian, and she's like, I read that, I thought it was total bullshit, and I went and actually did research on it.
Very nice.
So check that out too.
All right.
Basically, don't stop drinking Newcastle because it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, and it's a greater lesson too, which is that anything that you see that is telling you one side of something, there is another side. Just go seek it out.
I don't know if you noticed, but air is a carcinogen.
Shit, I'm going to stop breathing.
At least Aaron Martinez is a carcinogen.
Oh, yeah, that's the fact.
Hey, Justin, I just passed you a question.
Yeah? People want to know if PBR is what gave JP cancer. The chat wants to know.
According to this article.
PBR is what
GMO corn syrup.
Turns out the article's true.
I guarantee I would have more long-term health effects from drinking so much alcohol than specifically GMO corn syrup.
Yeah. Did you just jerk off when you said that?
I did, yeah.
I thought
jerk off motion. Like, get the fuck out of here. Monsanto, whatever.
All right, what else is in the news?
All right, well, so here's good news and bad news. The good news is that under a bill that has passed the Florida Senate Community Affairs Committee, craft brewers will finally be able to sell their beer in that state in growlers, which are, of course, legal in 47 other states already. The bad news is that in exchange, the bill requires that before they can sell to their customers, they would first have to sell to distributors, who would then sell the beer back at a markup to the brewers, even if the beer never leaves the brewery grounds. Have you guys heard this yet?
But it's
called the three-tier system.
Right, yeah.
Well, yes.
It's a good start.
Can we
Isn't
not...
that where we're at with everything?
Can we not continue reading this story? This is the kind of story that makes me want to flip my lid.
I can stop, sure.
It's just ridiculous. Why would anybody ever even think that that's an appropriate thing to do?
Well, and it's amazingly, it passed 8-1. So it wasn't even, it was like a landslide.
8 people thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
All right, hey, how about this? All right, I got an idea. What if we sell it to the distributor, and then he done sell it back to you?
Wait, what state was it?
At a markup, of course, because, well, he's buying it, and then he got to sell it. So you got to mark it up. And then you sell it to your customer. Here, check this out, though. Never even have to leave your building.
Best part.
We'll do it all on paper.
I love it. The only problem I have with this bill is that your Texas accent when you're from Miami, asshole.
Florida's pretty Texas-y. Yeah.
I mean, come on, and hey, if you put it that way, I think that sounds done reasonable.
Pass. Let's go get a fucking Cuban sandwich.
Hey,
all right,
let's go down to Chick-fil-A.
I mean, I don't know why we've been arguing about this for a year. Why didn't somebody put it that way sooner? Stupid. It doesn't have to leave the building, does it?
No, it does not.
Fuck you.
Why would it?
It's such a stupid thing.
Well, that would be dumb if it left the building,
right,
Justin. Don't be an asshole.
It has to leave the building to get the signature flavor of oxidized warehouse for 3 weeks before it goes back.
There's nothing like 3 weeks warm storage.
What did the one no vote say?
No.
The lone no vote was Republican Jack Latvala. He's from Clearwater. He likened the proposal to paying off crime syndicates, basically. He proposed an amendment.
It is! What? It's like that!
Thank you, sir.
Everyone's got to get their cut.
So the government's the crime syndicate?
No, the distributor's the crime syndicate.
Yes, exactly.
Go ahead, what'd he say?
He proposed an amendment that would require distributors to actually buy the beer and move it to their own warehouse before delivering it back to the brewer.
See? I told you.
Which is ridiculous because all that does is just make them feel a little better because the beer is actually leaving and doing something.
It's
not
just
doing
adding
anything.
a physical component
That's
to
all
it.
it is. Exactly.
You got to buy machines to pallet off.
It's adding cost.
Now, his quote is priceless. He said, if brewers are going to have to pay this tariff, sort of like protection to Vinny in New York, then they should at least have to move the goods.
What? It's just a stupid. I mean,
don't do it.
He's like, because if you do that, I'll vote for it.
Well, I think he's saying maybe he was trying to in
point
a
out how
roundabout way.
stupid it is.
Yeah, going well. If you're going to charge us, you actually have to do something.
I think you're right.
Oh, well, that is really stupid. But
wait, so this is now actually the law? Like that's how it is? Like it passed, and they have to do
8-1.
You're welcome, Florida brewery.
So a small, exactly. So a small brewery makes the beer, sells it to a distributor, who marks it up and sells it back, and then they sell it to me.
That is correct.
Who can stand for this?
That happens in other states.
It's already happening.
But not
a lot of states.
But not just to sell growlers.
No,
but
just beer.
Room, right?
Period.
Yeah.
Well, I understand the 3-tier system in general. Yeah, but but like here in California, it doesn't have to work that way, right? Like you guys can sell your beer directly.
But there are states that are set up just like that.
Yeah.
Legally, the beer is sold to the distributor and then sold back to the brewery. But it never moves.
My mind it just exploded.
I think Washington is like that. Don't quote me, but I think Washington is like that.
I'll quote the shit out of you.
All right, I said it.
All right, just to drive the nail in a little further before we do our last story, Senate President Don Getz he has already told the Associated Press that he supports the bill as a favor to Anheuser-Busch InBev distributor Louis Baer, a major GOP donor.
Yeah. I support it. What is it? I don't know.
Cha-ching.
AB. Cha-ching. Thank you. God bless. God bless America.
Cha-ching.
All right, what else?
One more as it pertains to GMO crops.
God bless them.
I'm sure you think of Monsanto and et cetera, like we were just talking about. But what if an entire industry like beer could undergo a revolution by rewriting an entire organism like yeast from scratch? So think synthetic yeast. A team of geneticists at Johns Hopkins University is doing just that, and if they're successful, the ramifications could be big. So, as Popular Mechanics reports, it's called the Yeast 2.0 Project. It has designed and written an 11 million letter DNA code, which is being snipped out and snapped into cultures of regular yeast.
I can't switch from the stupidest story on the planet to DNA. My brain just doesn't. I can't wrap my head around it.
Would you want to do like a mid-level story?
Yeah, I
in
needed
between?
something to just give me something moderately stupid.
You want like a label lawsuit story or something?
Yes.
Okay. So recently, this Johns Hopkins team, they blew past their first developmental milestone. They completed an entire chromosome, which is the third in yeast's 16 chromosome structure. And they're doing more than just rewriting. They're optimizing and downsizing the length of the genetic code that the yeast relies upon to fulfill its genetic destiny, essentially turning life into computer code, right? So they're going to fabricate yeast from scratch.
Right. I'm all for it.
And what they're saying is you could there's no limit in that case to the flavors you could get from yeast.
Yeah.
You can have whatever flavor profile you want. So I
just want tropical, so I don't have to buy all this hops you're talking about.
Yeah. You make me a tropical yeast.
Just make me tropical, and then the contracts can just toss them.
Call it an IPA yeast.
In any case, I mean, I'll stay abreast of this story and as they continue writing the code. But what do you guys think of this synthetic yeast?
I don't give a shit.
Why? There's no way it's going to be cheaper.
I could care less about it.
I think their funding needs to be evaluated. I mean, find a cure for cancer or the common cold.
Right.
Really, there's yeast grows.
Yeah, like it's true.
Right,
it's fixing a problem that doesn't exist.
Don't bring a bottle of that near my brewery, then I'll have to pay the patent on the
it's
genetic
not-
code
it's not
that
about
the
fixing
guy
the product.
paid to make that proprietary. And once that gets in my fermenters and stuff, he's going to come find me, and then I owe him money. So fuck that.
It's just a better solution than normal yeast. That is, say it produces these great flavors that just people can't live without.
Yeah, I'm really upset that there's not a yeast that tastes like prosciutto yet. Like I need another. Like you know what I mean? Like
bacon bomb yeast.
It'd be like a Rush beer just from the yeast.
Boutique
there you go, Tasty. That's your angle on this whole
then
thing.
I could definitely do the 1 gallon batch.
Right.
All right. Well, we're all dumber having heard both of those stories. That's what I think.
Well, God bless Monsanto and Johns Hopkins University and the state of Florida, and that is the news brought to you by homebrewstuff.com, who are in the middle of spring cleaning. So go check out their Caption This contest on Facebook, and if you're funny and you get a lot of likes, you can win a Mark's Keg and Carboy cleaner.
Yeah.
And make your spring cleaner at homebrewstuff.com.
Which I need, by the way. I need a Carboy keg cleaner thing. I need to go make a funny comment.
Need something that can wash Schwartz beer off things?
Who is it?
Her name is Kate.
Yeah.
It's not very good at it.
I do have an update on that Florida law. There's a listener in the chat room, Zeke. He says that law never passed. The entire legislation was changed. They debated it today, as a matter of fact. What they changed it to was that if you brew less than 2,000 kegs, you can have a tap room, sell growlers, and sealed products. Above 2,000 kegs, and anything that is sealed has to go to a distributor, but you can still apparently serve it in the tap room. So like all the brewers, which was what you would expect, all the brewers in the state supposedly were in an uproar, and they went to the legislature to testify.
I see.
So apparently there's going to be a vote on it, but there has been outrage on that story, and they are changing it as of today.
Moscow gets all his news from 2 weeks ago.
Instant updates.
Yeah. Really to get voted on.
This just in.
Well, I don't know if you knew this, but he's so cheap he has dial-up internet, and it's not that he didn't. It's not that he didn't download the news today.
Yeah.
It's that it's from 2 weeks ago.
It just finished loading.
On our video calls, I only see 4 pixels of him. So
what's wrong with dial-up? Isn't that what we're on now?
It's fine. Just keep up the good work, Moscow.
Yeah. Well, it said it passed 8-1. So they changed the past product.
Well, past
I read
committee.
exactly
It's a committee, not
might
the
have not gone to the
legislature.
general.
8-1, and we'd be like 500 to 1 or something.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I didn't read it, but there was a quote from the lobbyist for Holland and Knight, which represents the Florida Brewers Guild, which is like 90 craft breweries, and I love his quote. He said, it comes down to, we want a simple bottle size, 64 ounces, that's it. It's very simple. And instead, you have these other forces wanting to pull this red tape and this bureaucratic nonsense on breweries that are growing at a very healthy rate is ludicrous.
What
Whoever that guy is for president.
In an entirely different tone. He was like laughing the entire time.
2,000 kegs, though. That's 1,000 barrels?
Yeah.
Well, that seems like a weird way to measure it. What size keg? Is there a standard cake?
Well, I'm assuming,
I'm sure it wasn't barrels.
I'm sure a half barrel.
Yeah.
I think that listener...
Or
he even quoted 2,000 kegs. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, his name is Zeke. He's up on Florida News. He can't be too bright.
He's in the know.
How many kegs? 2,000!
That's a lot of beer.
I vote aye.
I'll steal that much in a week.
Yeah. Where should we cap it? 2,000! All right, Gavin
Who
Johnson.
elected him to the board? He can only say 2,000.
Can anyone think of a bigger number?
Yeah.
All right.
Who wants soup for lunch? 2,000!
Yeah.
All right. 2,000 soup again.
I like how Sam's now the representative of Florida.
Florida. He's everybody in Florida.
All right, go to adamandeve.com right now. For a limited time, you get 50% off just about any one item. You get free shipping. You get 3 free adult DVDs from genres such as
balls,
big boobs,
cheerleaders,
fun things,
big butts.
No, Warren.
Fun things,
not a category.
MILF. I don't think Big Balls is one. Is it?
I just balls.
I hope it is. I'm going to go Google it.
Who'd want to see those?
I didn't even specify the size.
Outdoor.
I just said balls.
I crossed it with butts and big balls.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You think you're ever going to get a letter from Adam and Eve like, it has come to our attention that you have been naming genres that we don't offer, and the script says something very specific, and fun things and big balls are not on there, sir.
My only argument would be, why not?
Well, yeah, then I think the next paragraph would be, do you know anybody who would be interested in helping us form these?
Yeah. I think the next line is actually, could you please have JP give us a call? He seems to be excellent at some of these categories.
Ball genre.
All right, use coupon code BNARMY. That's BNARMY. Look, it's a great, non-creepy way to shop for your adult products. You don't have to go stand in that weird store with everybody staring at you. And,
where you're definitely catching hepatitis.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want anybody seeing you pull down that double-sided dill.
I want, especially the one that's just out of reach. Do you need some help? Yeah, I just can't get the...
Sir, we'll have to get the ladder. Margie, we're going to need help with the double-sided donger up. No, not that one. The bigger one. The 14-inch. Yeah, the one up on the shelf. That's
the
right.
Jason Petros mold.
The zero gauge.
It's a team lift.
What about when you have to ask for super embarrassing porn titles?
Oh,
Do you guys have anal Brockovich in stock?
Right.
I'm looking for this in triple extra large.
Margaret, we have a liar at the counter.
Margaret,
thank you.
Liar squad to the front.
With the chain on the glasses.
Please come and embarrass him.
The library only for porn.
Margaret, when you're done cataloging all of the anal titles in the back, please, we have a liar at the counter.
When you're done sorting the Dewey Decimal System.
You started on those at 8 in the morning. It's now 4 in the afternoon. A was the first one. You're not doing shit. Get up here. Help us with this.
Margaret, I found this foot fetish in the anal category. Can you please, I want you to take the whole shelf down.
Can't be that many letters either in a porn store. A.
I'm really sorry. That's not how it was in the microfiche.
D.
Yeah, from 1962.
The porn card catalog.
Yeah, I have this on beta.
Wow, you're technologically advanced.
He and Margaret
converting over to microfiche.
All right, adamandeve.com.
Oh, and I did read that there is some question about the language being correct at 2,000 kegs. It says that, actually.
That's the language in the law.
That is the actual language of the bill, yeah.
So kegs can be any size.
Yeah, they're all confused about that.
It doesn't matter how many growlers they make. Just how many kegs they make.
Yeah, exactly.
Big-ass kegs.
15-barrel kegs.
Define a keg of growler, and there you go.
All right, I got an early flight. Let's get out of here. What's the Twitter game today?
Twitter game is if you had to name a piercing after the Brewing Network, what would you call it, and where would it go?
Yeah.
So our good friend Brandon Zeddies, who, if you remember, wrote the very awesome Brewcaster Challenge theme song.
Oh, I forgot to play it today.
Brewcaster
Nate just did. I think he actually...
I just saved you some time. You're done.
I don't know where I put it.
He went back into the studio and remixed it. It's a digital remaster. He remastered it.
Oh.
Did you get that copy?
I think he sent me like a shortened version,
Yeah,
I thought.
I just called it a remaster.
I think it gets right to the words.
Limited dance remix.
Yeah, I got it.
All right. Anyway, so Brandon says he would have the piercing would be a steel rod through both ass cheeks to attempt to keep beer farts in. It would be called the neutralizer.
Okay.
Ouch.
Someone on Twitter called Testes says he would have a chain from a man's tongue to a woman's nipple called the Tasty.
Good name.
That's not bad. Eddie McMullen writes he would have a piercing through JP's lips so he would shut the fuck up.
I like that one.
What would he call
good. He didn't. He didn't say, so he's probably disqualified.
Loser.
Yeah, he's an idiot. Ian Hay writes the Prince Petros, whereby the wiener of one brewcaster.
Winner. Don't even know. It doesn't matter. And that is the winner.
Is connected to the lower lip of another brewcaster.